Late Night Movies with Rob and Zack. This is a podcast about cinematic oddities where we discuss any media that is too bizarre, abnormal, or off-kilter for contemporary audiences. Occasionally these projects gel, most times they crash hard into the realm of obscurity. Join us as we delve into the cult classic Swamp. I'm Zack.
And I'm Rob, and I want to get right into it. We're doing it for real this week. We're talking about America's Got Talent. This week we're talking about the World Cup. This week we're talking about Joan of Arc Underground. This week we're talking about proper cuticle management and care. Probably going to be my favorite episode ever. This week we're talking about bezoarsones. This week we're talking about albino giraffes and their lobster counterparts. This week we're talking about, are your children getting pregnant to get high? Find out at 11. This week we're talking about Jurassic Park 5, Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom. Did I actually get that right?
It sounds like it. Better late than never.
Okay, the dinosaur movie. We are making good on our promise, right? I think I've just accepted. I'm finally at acceptance. I've gone through all 5 stages, probably more. I've gone through some sub-stages. I've just accepted it that we have to talk about this movie. So are you ready? Are you ready, Zach?
I am market fresh turkey breast.
Still no peppered, but okay.
Nope. No, at least it's not tuna though, so I'm getting closer to it.
These all mean different things to us. This is our the language of our podcast audience. This is how we secretly talk to each other.
That's
okay. So Zach and I saw this movie. It just came out in the U.S. We saw it within the last 24 hours. I know I saw it late last night. I was planning on going to the 7 p.m. first showing, missed that, went to the 10 p.m. showing instead. So I still caught it opening night, probably lost some of that, rip-roaring crowd of dinosaur lovers that I'm sure came out in Colorado. But when did you see it, Zach? Did you see it earlier today?
I saw it at 1:10 p.m. today, so I've seen it within the last 7 hours.
Okay, so good. So we have 2 viewings between the 2 of us. Maybe we can figure out what the hell this movie was about. I think that's my big question. I think the whole time I was sitting there, having reached the point of acceptance when I watched this movie, I didn't miss the 7 p.m. showing because I was like, I just don't want to do this. I just accepted that I was going to see more dinosaurs. And so while I was watching it, trying to keep as open as a mind as I can, I was just consistently wondering what the hell the plot of this movie was. I feel like I had no idea what was going on most of the time, and when big reveals happened and musical cues occurred, I was just kind of what am I supposed to be feeling? So I don't want to jump too far ahead into scenes of that instance, of instances of that. But I would say that's my kind of overall take on this movie. I don't get what it was going for. I don't get the point of it. It's very different from the other dinosaur movies that I binged. What do you think, Zach?
First, are we going spoiler warning, or are we going to give our general thoughts and then delve into the spoiler well?
Yeah, let's do general thoughts first.
Okay, general thoughts before the spoiler warning. I for the record, this is how I would describe this movie. It's either the 3rd best Jurassic Park film or the 3rd worst. Dealer's choice. I'm not angry at this film. As everybody knows, my seething hatred for Jurassic World, I am not angry at this film because this movie, if Jurassic World is just flaming hot garbage, this is just like a, I don't know, it's like a empty McDonald's wrapper that's just floating around the air. It's not good, but it's by no means offensive. I think that's my best way of putting it. I did not walk out of the theater being angry. And there's a couple of moments during this I actually found. I think this is a very without getting too far into it. I think this is a very campy movie. It's not 100% self-aware because some of the stuff it does is really stupid and it treats it really seriously.
Yeah.
But I think there's one scene in the movie which is 100% camp. I love that scene. It's probably it's probably gonna be one of my favorite scenes of the entire year because of how gloriously campy it is. But we'll get into that in a moment. But no, I guess there's some good moments in this. There's some really good moments of cinema. But at the end of the day, it's fluff. It's a movie I would describe as fine. Like if somebody said, how was it? I would say it's fine. It's not offensive. but I'm going to forget it in about 3 hours.
Okay. I like the comparison you make to fluff and like the empty McDonald's wrapper floating around. I would kind of put this movie in that category as well, as it's somewhat vacuous. There's no nutrition to it, you know? I would also say that it was fine without, you know, taking aside the points where I was like something gets revealed and I'm like, why should I care about this? Or like the plot takes a different turn and I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. And, you know, it's just kind of there. It's just, I took it in, I watched it. It didn't offend me either. I wasn't angry at it. Yeah, I think I also have to agree on your point about the campiness. I thought some of this was like straight up cartoonish at points.
Yeah.
Oh, it was interesting. It was interesting, especially thinking about it in kind of terms of the whole dinosaur series, because it is different, I would say.
This is one thing I disagree with you. I think that you could say this is almost a straight up remake of The Lost World. I think it's the exact same plot. Some elements are tweaked. Certain elements are just straight up ripped out of The Lost World. And considering that's probably the least memorable Jurassic Park film, I'm surprised. And that it's the movie that made Jurassic. It's one of Steven Spielberg's, like, it's considered one of his worst films. And
okay.
so like I said, as I'm watching, it's like I know like Colin Madman Trevorrow. Like I'm thinking it under his lens, even though he did not direct this, he did write it.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually two things I want to bring up, follow-ups to our Jurassic World conversation about the Madman himself.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get to that in a moment. But no, like I said, I think this thing almost plays like a greatest hits of the Jurassic Park series.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, there's so many elements in this that are just straight up either homages or just blatantly ripping off other films. Like I was genuinely disappointed there wasn't a point in the film where we had a velociraptor. Like Jurassic Park 3 talks to Sam Neill. I'm surprised at one point we didn't hear Chris Pratt hearing a dinosaur call his name. Like I was shocked that didn't happen, considering that's a big meme now on the internet.
Yeah, that would have been great. I wanted to see him ride the velociraptor. I think I said that.
I was shocked by that. Like I know Rob said I'm not sure if it got made into the recording or not, but I really was expecting Chris Pratt to ride a dinosaur at this point. And I'm shocked they haven't done that. Like that blew my mind, considering after the stupid motorcycle run through the jungle in Jurassic World, we did not get that. He didn't put a saddle on Blue and ride Blue around the mansion.
Yeah, I was very, very surprised, especially with, you know, how much it develops that romantic relationship that we touched on in our last episode about dinosaurs. All right, well, I guess we'll get into some scenes maybe when we do. We can talk about why I think it was a little different. But what do you got? What do you got about the Madman? What are we talking about him again?
Well, this is kind of going back to Jurassic World in the context of that. As everybody knows, we are the connoisseurs of context. Going back, this will touch into a thing for this movie too. The Bryce Howard running with the heels in Jurassic World. Mm-hmm. I heard that apparently Bryce Howard fought for that scene. Like apparently the Madman told her, like, honey, you're in the middle of a jungle. Why are you wearing high heels? And she said, no, I want to wear the high heels. And she fought to do that.
Oh,
so
okay.
Apparently that was her decision, and he allowed her to do it.
Interesting.
Number two this is a little bit more the making of Jurassic World that I heard back during whatever it was, like 2012, 2013-ish, or even 2014, when Disney was trying to make The Force Awakens. Apparently, they wanted... This is all coming out with, like, The Incredibles 2 and Brad Bird. Apparently, their first choice was... one of their first choices was Brad Bird for The Force Awakens. And he said, I can't. I'm too busy working on Tomorrowland, like pre-production on Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
And they said, wait, we have an idea. What would happen if once Tomorrowland... leaves, like once you're finished with principal photography for Tomorrowland, Colin Trevorrow takes over post-production. But I'm trying to get this right. But before you start filming principal photography for Tomorrowland, Trevorrow will help prep Force Awakens for you. So basically, Trevorrow would have been like a co-director on both films.
Okay.
So like, while Brad Bird was like working on Tomorrowland's principal photography, Trevorrow would have been prepping Force Awakens for him. And once Tomorrowland finished principal photography, Brad Bird went straight into Force Awakens principal photography, and Trevorrow would have finished Tomorrowland in the editing bay.
Okay.
I heard that and they tried doing it they tried it out for a couple weeks, and it wasn't working. And that's why Kathleen Kennedy is married to Frank Marshall, who's the producer of all the Jurassic World films and Jurassic Park and a bunch of other things. And apparently, while this was going on, Kathleen Kennedy kind of told her husband, "Honey, you gotta check this guy Trevorrow out. He's a team player." And that's how the Madman got dragged onto or got drafted into the world of Jurassic World.
Okay. Interesting. Is that switching of you do this and we work on these movies, and then at a certain point we kind of swap and work on each other's movies? Is that common in Hollywood?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so.
It probably happens. There are instances where somebody comes in either remedies a film or they lock the director out of the editing bay, which is never good. But to have it amicable, have an amicable swap between so many states, where filmmakers just keep jumping back and forth between production to production. Yeah. I've never heard of an example of that being successful or noteworthy. But I guess they were so desperate to have somebody involved with Force Awakens, they were willing to try anything. Mm-hmm. But yes, that's what I've heard since our Jurassic World episode.
Okay. And then it all fell through, and I don't know about Tomorrowland, but of course, neither of them ended up doing anything with The Force Awakens, right?
No.
Yeah,
Jar Jar Abrams got hired.
Yes, good old Jar Jar Abrams. Doesn't Tomorrowland have George Clooney or something? Did Tomorrowland ever come out?
Yeah, Tomorrowland's gonna be a Cinemoddity one day. That's on the docket. It might not be for another couple of years, but that is a definitive Cinemoddity. That is a wonky. Yes, that's George Clooney. And the fun fact about that film: George Clooney falls in love with a 10-year-old robot girl. That is the climax of that film. That's not even a joke. He literally falls in love with a 10-year-old robot girl.
The climax, really?
Yes,
That's the big point of the movie.
You will not believe when we eventually get to it. You'll lose your mind when you watch that film. This is how, considering that it's a $200 million Disney blockbuster that came out in the last 5 years. You will lose your mind that actually got made.
Was it directed by Brad Bird?
Yes, and written by Damon Lindelof.
Oh, we talked about JJ. We got Damon getting the Lost people involved.
There's a lot to this. But yes, back to the Jurassic World.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to bring up, I guess, before we jump into spoilers and all the details, box office. Now, I know we don't have any idea about...
we do now.
The weekends. Well, yes, we do. That's what I want to talk about. But the weekend's not over. That's the point I'm trying to make. This is not definitive. But I have some inside information that my prediction of $210 million opening weekend, it's not just gonna make that. It's gonna exceed it. This is how I know. This is how I know. When I saw this movie yesterday, there were 12 people in the theater. It was me and 11 people. Okay. And I know for a fact each of those people paid $19 million, $19,090,908 per ticket. Okay?
That's probably specific.
But these poor saps didn't have a coupon like I did, so I got my ticket for $12. And if you do the math, that's $210 million on the nose, plus Zach's ticket. I think I'm going to win. I think I won the box office prediction on this one, Zach.
You won the Cinemodities box office pool?
Wait for the Colorado numbers to come in. Your mind's going to be blown.
I'll keep my ear to the ground.
It's going to be like the GDP of multiple small nations, the box office of this movie in Colorado. I've heard that some towns in Colorado are running out of money to go see this movie. So they've started just performing sacrifices to go see this movie. So how does Hollywood rank that? If a movie makes $130 million, 2 goats and the blood of a newborn or something, where does that rank up with inflation and things like that? Do we know? Has Hollywood adapted to the changing times we live in, Zach?
I would imagine they'll be willing to embrace that before they're willing to report numbers with inflation. I think that's fair to say. They'll start factoring in blood payments, blood money.
Yes, that's good. Oh man. Okay. But seriously, I think what is it? It's slated for the low end of what you said, Zach. 130 million.
Yeah, it's good. It depends. Like Rob said, it could rally, but The Incredibles took off too well. Like The Incredibles made more money than it should have last weekend. So, barring and from what I can tell, the word of mouth on this is not great. So it's. I think a lot of people are going to see this as underwhelming. Especially, it's a much different film than I think anything in the series in the sense of what people will expect. Even though it plays like a greatest hits, it's a weird movie. Like I said, it's greatest hits, but it has like a weird sort of like aura around it.
Yeah,
it's a weird movie. Not Tomorrowland weird, but it's a goofy movie.
Oh yeah,
but no, 130 at this point. I think it made $15 million on Thursday night. So obviously the Colorado numbers weren't reported yet. The $20 million tickets that were sold in the Colorado theaters. So like I said, it's probably going to do around 130, 150, depending on what Incredibles 2 does.
There's going to be another one. Like it's set already, right?
Yes,
okay.
The Madman's coming back for the third one.
Yeah. So what could happen to make that not occur? No, the whole movie. Like, what would this movie like have to stop making money right now, and they wouldn't do a third one? What do you think, or is it just guaranteed we have to watch another dinosaur movie?
I think it's guaranteed. I think these movies just print money. And this is another one of those franchises where I think the movie is just a glorified commercial for the toys. Like I know I went to Target after the movie and they had all the toys. I was very disappointed. I did not find an indoor raptor toy. I really wanted an indoor raptor Funko Pop. I could not find any. They did have Blue toys. I found Blue and a bunch of other dinosaurs.
Okay.
They had a Chris Pratt toy, which I started laughing at for like a solid 15 minutes. One of the eyebrows was like painted like over his eye, so it looked like he was blind.
Did they have a BD Wong toy?
No, they did not have a BD Wong toy. There should be more of those.
There should be. What about Toby Jones? Because he was in this. He was the engineer. He was Emile Zola from the Marvel movies.
Oh, I know who Toby Jones is.
Okay.
I was trying to think of the most obscure movie he's been in. Like, they don't make blank toys.
Oh, he was Ollie the Bag Boy in The Mist from 2007. That's I don't know if that was obscure. That's a great movie.
Insert Ollie the Bag Boy toy reference here.
That's fine. But until then, if you don't shut up, I'll wrap this tape around your mouth.
You just try it, Ollie Weeks. And you, bitch.
All right. I want to start talking about this movie. Because this movie, even though it does not make me as angry as Jurassic World 1, it is a stupid, stupid movie.
Oh, definitely. And I have some things I absolutely want your thoughts on.
So I'm going to jump right in.
Spoilers? We're doing spoilers?
Yeah, spoilers.
Let's do it.
Okay, for the record, it's worth saying that I don't think there's anything in this movie to spoil. There's dinosaurs. They roar. Chris
literally
Pratt
what I was about to say.
Like, there is nothing to spoil about this film. Like, think about it. If you want to, like, there's no Han Solo dies of this movie. There's no Bruce Willis is dead. Like, there's no like point where you can ruin this movie.
You're telling me that if I had texted you at like 2 a.m. your time last night and said Maisie is a clone, you wouldn't have had your mind blown. You wouldn't have been like, oh fuck, the movie's ruined.
From the moment that she went to go for the picture in the guy's like photo book and he pulled it away from her, I'm like, oh, she's gonna be a clone. I'm like, I called that the moment that happened. Because like the moment what's Bryce Howard like sees her like in the shadows, and I'm like, oh crap, please don't. Because I'm not sure if Rob knows this though, but like when they wanted to make Jurassic Park 4 back like in the early 2000s, there was always like this concept art that floated around. Like one of the ideas they had is they want to do like half human, half dinosaur like hybrids. Like that was like a legit plot point they were pursuing. And I'm like, when they did that, I'm like, oh crap, are they really gonna make? Like, I thought like, oh god, they're gonna make her like half dinosaur. I'm like, perfect. And then like, oh, she looks like a normal kid. I'm like, no, they're not gonna make her dinosaur. They're gonna make her a clone. And in the moment when the guy pulls the picture away from her, I figured it was gonna be instead of like the original daughter with the nanny, I thought it was gonna be the father, like as a young man with her, like the same age looking. So the nanny thing threw me off. But no, that like I saw that I would have been like, what is he talking about? I would have been like, what? Like, who the hell's Maisie? It's like, what? Like, what the hell does that mean? It's worth noting that Zack and Gray do not come back. I was very disappointed about that.
Yeah, neither does Judy Greer. Like, what's up with that?
Well, she's too busy. She's too busy in Ant-Man doing nothing.
Yeah, she's off doing other Judy Greer things.
Being bad movies.
So yeah, that was the one of the things I wanted Zach's opinion on, which he gave it to us. How obvious did he think it was that Maisie was a clone? I thought it was incredibly obvious. That was one of the big reveals that I was mentioning before. When I was watching the movie, I kind of understood or predicted or saw it coming that she was going to be a clone, or something in that respect. I knew that was going to be a reveal. But then there's that scene. In that scene of the reveal, the movie keeps going, and one of the cartoonish bad guys is like, I'm just going to give you a bunch of stories about why you're a clone.
You have no idea what she is. What do you think drove Hammond and Lockwood apart? Huh? Lockwood never had a grandchild. He just wanted his daughter back. And he had the technology. He created another. He made her again.
And I was like, am I supposed to care? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, this is like the first time we ever see Maisie, we ever see Mills, we ever see Lockwood. Like, Lockwood's not in any other movies, right?
That's what I was going to ask you, because like they keep making this out to be like, oh, Lockwood did this. Lockwood
he was Hammond's partner. Yeah, they talk about like Hammond and him falling out because Maisie was a clone, because Hammond didn't want to clone people. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, why would I care about this? This isn't established in the slightest. I don't think Lockwood's even mentioned in any of the other Jurassic Park movies. It's just Masrani and Hammond.
Like, that's like, I'm trying to think of if it was even mentioned in any of the prior. I don't think it's. Yeah, I'm looking online, and apparently there's a Jurassic Park wiki, and it says Benjamin Lockwood appearances just Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
I thought it was going to be like a Laura Dern clone. Oh God, that's a tongue twister.
That's
Laura Dern clone.
That's what I thought. I thought it was going to be something that's like, not they were going to make like Laura Dern the victim, be like, oh, something with like Sam Neill or like the kids from the first Jurassic Park, like maybe like that's like the daughter of the girl from the first film.
Tie it in somehow. Yeah, that would have made sense. But instead, they go on this old man who you just met and is dead wanted a clone of a human. And it's a huge reveal.
It's not established at all.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I thought it was such an interesting. Oh, it's
built up as if we're supposed to know.
Yep, it's like we're supposed to care. Like it's supposed to be an enthralling moment, and it's just, like my theater was dead silent. I believe.
Well, it's like a huge payoff with absolutely no setup. Mm-hmm. And that's so bizarre. Again, I don't know how. In the scripting stage, the madman just got away with that, and no one questioned him on it.
Yeah, the shit that he puts in movies blows my fucking mind sometimes, Zach. Well, not really sometimes, all the time.
It's worth noting he does have a co-writer, and it's Derek Connolly, who I think has worked with him on pretty much everything. Okay. So it's like we can't just dump this all at the madman's feet, but I imagine that it's almost like they're synonymous. Like it's like they're both on the same page.
Yeah, like they're probably just feeding into each other and fanning the terrible flames of their production. Oh yeah.
But getting to the beginning of this film.
Yeah. Do we want a plot synopsis or something? Do we want
something happens dinosaurs? There we go. Plot synopsis.
Yeah. So if you've seen any of the other Jurassic Park movies, I don't know if I said it in our first recording or if it made it into the final version, but every movie is like the same 3 acts. Like, oh my God, look at those dinosaurs! Isn't that amazing? Holy shit, those dinosaurs are attacking us! What are we gonna do about the dinosaurs? It's the same, follows the same fucking formula as every single one of them. Just, as we'll get into some scenes with some interesting changes. So yeah, beginning of the movie, Zach, what do you got?
Beginning of the movie, we see like a James Cameron submersible underwater. They are at the Jurassic World Park, and they're like in the giant like Shamu tank with the giant Jaws shark or giant Jaws dinosaur, and they're like they go there and like this is why I knew the movie was gonna be bad. And it's like, and they're like, the guy's like, there's not any dinosaurs around here, and he's like, nah, man, they died off years ago.
Relax. Anything in you'd be dead by now.
And I'm like, how would it just die off? It's like,
yeah, really.
It's like, but at the same time, though, I thought, I'm like, how does a dinosaur that's living like in an aquarium not die of starvation? Like after, because they make a very big point of saying that it's 3 years after Jurassic World. It takes place 3 years later. So like, I was thinking about that. And I'm like, wait, how could the Jaws dinosaur still be alive? Like, there's no way it could survive in that tank for 3 years. Without any food. Like, it can't just get out. Like, and they clearly show that was...
Other dinosaurs on the island would have had to been, like, just lining up to die and fall in. Yeah. Like,
I'm guessing maybe they were drinking... Maybe, like, dinosaurs were drinking water and just, like, picked them off like a crocodile does with, like, birds.
I mean, that could be the case, but, I mean, there's got to be other water sources on the island. Like, all the dinosaurs wouldn't have to go to there.
Maybe it's salty? Maybe because it's all salt water?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know either. I really don't.
So
dinosaurs should be dead. Absolutely.
Dinosaurs should be dead. And so, like, the submersible goes in there. They're looking for, like, the bones of Jason Voorhees' dinosaur from the previous film. And they're like, we got it. And they're like, and it's this overly complex, like, way of retrieving, like a sheared-off tooth from Indominus Rex.
Yeah.
Where, like, they saw it off, like, put it next to, like a flotation device, like a balloon buoy, and they fly it to the surface. Then people on a helicopter, like it's not even made clear in the film. Like it's like first thing we see is like there's a bunch of guys on a landing pad. They take off, and we never see them claim it. But next thing we know, they're back on the landing pad. We see them take off, but we never see them land. And like the technician that's like opening like the floodgates is like, hurry back, submersible. You gotta get back. And like, it's in like, I don't know, like the giant like Jaws dinosaur eats the submersible, and then the T-Rex shows up out of nowhere. The technician like is running, and they like throw him like what'd you call it? Like the ladder, like the ladder.
Yeah, the rope ladder or whatever.
The rope ladder, and like it's like this big thing. Oh, is he gonna escape? The T-Rex bit it. And like they fly over the giant freaking like aquarium, and it's like, oh, here it comes. And the Jaws shark just leaps up out of the water like it did in the first film, and eats the guy. And like the helicopter guys are like, sucks to suck. And then the credits it says Jurassic.
Is that the line? Is that the line? I don't remember. I hope that's the line.
If that's not the line, it should be. And
the suck.
and then it literally cuts the credits. It says Jurassic World 2 Dinosaur Boogaloo. And it's like, that's it. It's like, okay, apparently this is the movie. And then this is the part I was bringing up. The very first shot we get of Bryce Howard is a shot of her high heels, and the camera pans up to her face from her high heels. And I'm like, really? I'm like, after all the quote-unquote controversy that high heels thing from her in the first film caused, are we really going to jump directly into that again? And like, I don't want to hijack this too much from Rob. So Rob, stop me if there's anything here that controversial you want to talk about. Like, Bryce Howard like works in some sort of like office space where there's like dozens upon dozens of people who are trying to save the dinosaurs.
It is literally called the Dinosaur Protection Group.
So our mission here at the Dinosaur Protection Group is to secure federal funding.
Is it really? That's what it's called?
It's the Dinosaur Protection Group. Like, they couldn't have even come up with like a catchier name. Even if you make that like an initialism, DPG. Like, that's hard letters in a row. Like, that's not the easiest thing to say. It doesn't roll off the tongue. And yeah, they have a staff of millions, funding from who knows where, but we only need to care about 2 of them, right? We only need to care about 2 of the millions of employees who fight the dinosaurs, who want to save the dinosaurs.
It's like, and it's worth noting that these 2 employees, one is a generic female who likes to, generic edgy female who loves dinosaurs, and generic male hacker.
Yeah, with a girly scream. He's got the girly scream going on.
Yeah, he's got the girly scream, yeah. The gender norms there are switched, because she's obviously the much more masculine one. He's not. It's worth noting. It's worth noting that in this, too much like they did with like Lando and Solo and like all the other movies, they've claimed, and it's not in the film, even though I think you can infer it. They made a very big point of saying that she's either gay or bisexual or something. They've said that in the pre-release interviews that she is some sort of not heterosexual, because apparently that clearly matters to the plot of this film, that she bats for the same team.
I mean, I think it's the most important. If you don't have that, you don't understand why she is a veterinarian. I think she's a veterinarian.
I guess, because she keeps saying it's said numerous times that she's the only person that can take care of dinosaurs.
Yeah,
it's also she also says that she's never seen a dinosaur before. So how could you be trained to take care of something that you've never encountered before?
As a matter of fact, I do have the dinosaur's best interest in mind. I'm a paleo-veterinarian. That's a real thing. No, I haven't seen one with my own eyes. Not everyone can afford to spend their life savings.
Yeah, it's just she's an academic.
I guess. Again, this is what I mean. Isn't that what like Julianne Moore's character was from Vince Vaughn's character from Lost World, where he was like a dinosaur technician or like a dinosaur nurse?
I thought Vince Vaughn was just the cameraman, like the journalist.
Julianne Moore then. Julianne Moore then. I get their.
Yeah, she was like a dinosaur. She was like an anthropologist, and she wanted to go to the island to see dinosaurs because at that point in the Jurassic Park movies, they didn't exist anywhere but on the island.
That's okay. So that's what it was.
So yeah. I mean,
like, she seems like a clone of like Julianne Moore from that movie. It's like again, character archetype, tough woman who doesn't take nonsense from anyone, and it's like, oh, okay, that's gonna be that character. Like I said, the guy's just he's not that he's a wimp, but he's just kind of. He's a computer nerd, and he's a sissy because he's a computer nerd. And then that's his character, like sissy computer nerd. Like that's all you need. But I think one of the best, again, there's many best parts of this film, is that like something happens on TV because there's a we didn't talk about this. There's a volcano on the island. Apparently, neither John Hammond or Indian John Hammond had the foresight to figure out maybe it's not a great idea to dump billions of dollars into something where there's a volcano.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna take a guess. I don't think they say in the movie, but there's probably 2 volcanoes on the other island, on Isla Sorna, right?
I don't think that's even canon because I know there's 2 islands referenced in the first film, but I don't think they're given a name in the first film.
Well, that's how I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take them all in the same universe still, I think.
But the Madman has said they are not.
I know, but fuck the Madman. The Madman is a poor story decision.
I know he did, but it's also worth noting that Jeff Goldblum is he's not the Lost World character. He's exclusively the first film character.
That's true. That is true. I guess we didn't mention that the bookends of this movie are Goldblum talking to the Senate or some committee.
Well, that's what I want to get into with the volcano. It's like as I'm watching this, and they're like, should the U.S. intervene in saving the dinosaurs? And I'm like, A, it's international waters; they have no jurisdiction. 2, it's owned by a private corporation.
Yep.
And they make a point of saying that they didn't say Engine went bankrupt, but they said they paid out a little less than $1 billion in settlements.
Yeah.
And so they clearly own it still. So so you have the I don't want to jump ahead too far, but it's what stake does the government have in this? Unless Engines went bankrupt, and part of the bankruptcy is them giving up all their research to the federal government. That would make sense. If the government was to get involved. So that scene has absolutely other than just we need Jeff Goldblum was available for a weekend, so let's shoot something with him.
Exactly.
It's why? It's why is that scene even in the movie? Because you could take both of those sequences out of the film, and it would not change the movie at all.
It makes much more sense. I think the scene probably the way it is makes more sense if it came after all the dinosaurs got free into the world, like the end of the movie where Maisie frees all the dinosaurs. It would make more sense if it was in a Senate hearing in response to that. But it clearly isn't, because they say the line where they're like, do we intervene? Do we save the dinosaurs from the volcano? So clearly it's before the whole movie and the plot has occurred. If they had just like done like a time switcheroo where they had like Goldblum at the beginning just saying crazy chaos theory stuff, and then at the end they have the rest of it and make you realize that it's a hearing on, well, fuck, we got dinosaurs everywhere, that would have made way more sense. It would have been way more impactful. So I agree that it makes no sense in the way it's set up in the movie right now.
It's really, because this movie has like a weird, because like one of the first like philosophical debates of like saving the dinosaurs or what their role is going to be in the world from now on. Like the first thing is with Goldblum, and he's like, well, it's an act of God. It's like the dinosaurs are wiped out by what do you want to call it? Earth-defining event. Mm-hmm. The same thing's happening now on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
And one of the senators or politicians is like, are we supposed to believe this is an act of God, Mr. Goldblum?
Are you suggesting that the Almighty is taking matters in his own hands?
Which is exactly what it is. It's a volcano erupting. Nobody has control over that. It is the definition of an act of God. And it's like, and he's like, no. What I'm trying to say is it's the world trying to course correct from what you like. Once you let the genie out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, that makes perfect sense. It's like, you know what? Like, we create these creatures. It's the world's way of saying, or the universe saying, like, enough. Like, this shouldn't exist. And so it's like, okay, so no government involvement. And so next thing we know, like we've already kind of talked about, it's like Bryce Howard gets a phone call from, what's the company even called? Do they have a name, or is it just Blackwood or Lockwood?
I think it's Lockwood Industries, Lockwood Corporation. I think it's one of those two. But okay. we do have to mention that, doesn't she get this phone call like immediately upon seeing the results of the Senate hearing on TV?
Yeah,
it's
pretty instantaneous.
It's just immediate. Like Lockwood, in his like dying old man state, had nothing better to do than just sit there and wait. They're like, if they say no, I'm gonna call her.
I don't think it was him.
It was like ready to go. Oh, Mills.
I think it's Guy McFace.
Guy Mills. Yeah. Well, he was a Guy McFace to me. I don't think he's Guy McFace.
You don't think he was?
No. Yeah. Why do you think he was Guy McFace?
He's a generic acting man. You can call him that. He's a Guy McFace. He's acting man. He's actor man. It's just like.
I thought Guy McFace. His acting was very generic. He was one of the more cartoonish characters, I felt, at points.
He's generic villain who's out to make money.
Okay.
The only thing that could have made him more generic is if he was a bald man and he was a little fat. All he cares about is profits.
I thought the criteria for Guy McFace was that they had to have like a forgettable face. I thought this guy stood out well enough. Like
No, Guy McFace is a term for generic, a generic male character performance. That's what it is. It's not meant to, like, again, Chris Pratt would be a Guy McFace, except he's Hero Man. Like, he's not, he's Hero Man. That's what he is. And
he's like Hero McFace. I don't know. We need a combination.
Well, that's what it is. Like, well, yeah. Hero Man is. It's just, you can call him Hero McFace. It just doesn't have a nice enough ring.
I'm a hero? No. I'll think of something. We'll do an update on that.
So she gets a phone call from Guy McFace, and she's like, "Please come out to my estate." And I'm like, "Okay," because like I think we both knew walking into this, like the latter half of the film is going to take place like in a mansion, and so like I do like an establishing shot of the mansion. The mansion looks like shockingly small, considering that we're gonna have like this thing's gonna house like 50 dinosaurs at some point in it. Like I'm expecting like not a mansion, but like almost like an estate or a complex, like something huge. And it's like it's like a mansion. It's just a mansion, and it's like okay,
but it's got all the highest high tech state of the art science equipment, and they got like a little. You see that the conveyor belt they built? Like they pull the lever and it brings the dinosaur out in the cage, and then they pull the lever the other way and it goes back in. That's advanced shit.
And they have a little LCD television that has like all the current bids for dinosaurs. Yeah. That is some high tech.
Yeah, that's where they put all their money. They were like, well, we could build another wing to our mansion,
or we could a super fancy conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So anyway, Bryce Howard goes to the mansion, talks with Guy McFace, and he's like, "We want to save the dinosaurs." She meets with James Cromwell, who at this point just plays these characters no matter. He's another one who's just generic old man now.
Oh yeah.
And we see him, and he's like, "Oh, like I want to see." Like me and Hammond were so close. Like I'm pretty sure at one point he almost says Richard Attenborough, and he cuts like, "Oh, Hammond." And so you have that, and like you have like a model of like this like island sanctuary where they're gonna put the dinosaurs. And it's like, okay, great. I don't know how this is any different than what we did with the first one. It's like, it's an island. He's like, no tourists. I'm like, yeah, right.
And no volcanoes.
No volcanoes.
Fingers crossed.
Until like the 8th movie where we need another volcano.
It's going to be something like an iceberg or a glacier is going to come and it's going to like freeze the island or something. And it's going to be like Jurassic Park 6, Jurassic Park 4, Glacier Boogaloo.
No, it's going to be Jurassic Park 7, Day of the Iceberg.
Day of the Iceberg. I like it.
So, and then at one point, like, talking about Lockwood, he's like Bryce Howard's like, oh, your wife, whatever her name is, would have absolutely loved this. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, there's a wife that we were supposed to know at this point? And what her feelings are on this?
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on? But, like, right before this scene, we're introduced, like, a little shadow of, like, a little girl. And he's like, oh, and Bryce Howard's like, oh, who is that? Oh, that's Mr. Lockwood's granddaughter. And it's like, great. Who cares? And so they're like, what? And she's like, why do you need my help, though? It's like, oh, we need your fingerprint to, like, access, like, the computer data room of, like, Jurassic World. And he's like, oh, okay. She's like, I'm on board. They're like, oh, but we need Chris Pratt. And she's like, oh, okay. And so,
she's like, oh, he lives in a van now.
Yeah, that's a whole subplot too.
I think that's the line. She's like, I don't want to talk to him. He lives in a van.
Oh my god. So she's like, so she goes looking for him.
Well, they need him because he's in love with the raptor, right? And
yes,
they have to seduce the raptor. Yeah.
Yes, he has a raging hard-on for the raptor, and
they need his seduction and his prowess.
Exactly. And so she goes looking for him. He has like a little trailer. I think it's the same trailer he had in the first film, and he's like building like it's like a shocking little house. Like it's like almost like a little house. Like I was looking at it, he's almost as tall as the house. And it's like,
doesn't he call it a cabin at one point?
He calls it a cabin, but like it's like one thing. Like a cabin's one thing, but this is like a shack almost. And if you look, I'm not sure if Rob
shanty status.
Oh, shanty. There it goes. That's the word, shanty. He's building a shanty, and you look, and like she goes up to him, and if you see, like I'm not sure if it was like a model, but like he has like a small miniaturized version of the shack. Like in front of the shack he's building.
Oh, I did not see this.
I could be wrong. But it looks like something like I don't know, like the prop department created. It's like an exact like replica, but like maybe like I don't know, like a 25th the size. And you look at it, and it's actually just completed the same amount as where he's in, because he's halfway of like. I don't think he's putting the roof on, but like he's putting part of like a lip of the roof on. And if you look at this little model he has right in front of the shack, it's completed exactly at the same point that he's currently doing it. So apparently on top of building his own shack, he's building a scaled down model of the shack at the same time.
I was about to say maybe that's how he operates, but I can't imagine Chris Pratt or the character Owen that he plays, either of them would have like
it's
that
not
much
a character.
Hair.
He's Hero Man. He doesn't have a name. He's Hero Man.
Yeah, I can't imagine that he would give that much of a fuck. Like, wouldn't his character just be like, I can build a shanty. I don't need a goddamn small miniature to guide me. You know, I got my proportions. He's like, measure once, cut twice, that type of shit, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
So I think that's just someone from the prop department must have been like, wouldn't this be cool? And the director was like, fuck it. This movie's going to be a train wreck anyway.
Yeah, like I said, that's, we'll get into the director toward the end of this, though, but that's its own story.
Okay, but yeah, we should talk about him living in a van, I think, and why Bryce Howard doesn't like this, and apparently it's why they broke up to some extent.
I left you.
You left because I told you to.
And then I left.
Because you didn't want to live in a van on the side of the
No,
road.
no, because you wouldn't let me drive the damn van for 5 minutes.
I'm chivalrous. What can I do?
You're so stubborn.
Well,
It's shocking how this is a plot point since during the events of 1 and 2.
Like, it's crazy. They spend so little time on this aspect of their relationship in, like, both movies. But you know, it's just always nonsense, you know? It's just them talking about shit they did in the past. I think that's a very strange thing. And this one, you know, the first one made a little sense in Jurassic World because it was like, oh, blah, 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 we had problems, okay. This one is just, like, weird. Like, it's just like, I didn't want to live in a van. Like, he's building a fucking shanty. He's clearly not living in a van. Like, what is the point of that conversation?
I really don't get it. Cause like,
it blew me away.
So she goes to him, tells him, like, I need to talk to you. Like, do you want to get a beer? They go to a bar, and she, like, runs through the plot again with him, like, oh, all the dinosaurs are going to die. Like, why don't you care? And he's like, they're dinosaurs. They're like, all animals are going to die eventually. And she's like, but what about Blue, though?
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's like, it's a dinosaur. It'll be, like, again, it either lives or it dies. It figures out a way. And she goes through like the entire, like, it's generic spiel. Like, if you really cared, you'd come with me. Like, you're on the plane manifest. So he sits there and, like, takes like a swig of his beer. And the next shot is him, like, on his iPad watching, like, his research footage of, like, Baby Blue.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's weird.
So it's in a weird way. Chris Pratt's like almost like a, I don't want to say like is this like incest almost? Like incest dinosaur porn almost?
So I don't think this is incest. I think the correct term for it is grooming. Like
is that what it's called?
Yeah. So it's like, you know, from the hours of my life I've spent watching Zvoo, there are many episodes where they go after pedophiles who, like, you know, try and kidnap kids when they're babies and then, like, raise them to be their sex objects when they're older, and they call it grooming. So that's legitimately what this is, I think, because we all know from our first episode on Jurassic World and the events of this movie that Chris Pratt and this dinosaur are romantically involved. So yeah, I think it's grooming, and it's not an okay thing.
I'm really hoping it is a deleted scene in this film where, like, Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard in the bar together, and it's like, you kept wanting me to dress up like the dinosaur during sex. Like, I wish that were a scene.
Yes.
And Chris Pratt's like, just because I wanted you to wear a blue stripe during sex doesn't mean I was into the dinosaur. But the scales and the claws.
Before we recorded this episode, Zack sent me a link where I could buy a child's Blue the Velociraptor costume. That should have been like the product placement of this movie. Bryce Dallas Howard should have been like, I didn't want to wear the officially licensed Warner Brothers Jurassic Park Blue the Velociraptor Halloween costume. Oh, that's good.
I can only hope that's in a deleted scene somewhere. Like, that's the reason why. It wasn't the driving of the van. It's the fact that he had some sort of weird fetish with her. And she wasn't able to deal with it.
That would have elevated this whole movie for me, because I think that would have made all their interactions for the remainder of the film that much more awkward. Just the audience knowing that about them. Because the whole van thing is inconsequential. If it was like, Chris Pratt, you wanted me to do weird sex things, I didn't like it. And that's a very different tone for the remainder of the film. There's a point in the film
where Bryce Howard is driving like a truck, and I'm like, oh, they're going to tie this in. And it's never made, like, after, like, I guess after that bar scene, it's really never referenced again. Like, I figured, like, at one point she's driving, like, some sort of truck, and he's, like, running to catch up, and I figured, like, oh, they're going to tie this in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, nope, we're never, it's like, that was all first act. We're not referencing anything now. We're in the second act now. This is a completely different movie.
Yep. Yep.
But kidding all aside, though, like, I think the Baby Blue and Chris Pratt stuff actually works. Like, again, like, in the sense of this trying to be a real movie, I think they do convey that Chris Pratt does have some sort of emotional attachment to this, like, little CGI creature. Like, I think that's one element of this movie. Like, it doesn't fit at all. But, like, in a different movie, like, if this was, like, Sam Neill, like, in Jurassic Park 3 or something, like, and you had, like, a moment like this, where there's a little bit more of, like, sincerity and a whole lot less cynicism, this would work. like exponentially more because like you feel it's like, oh, he obviously has a relationship with this little creature compared to like, wasn't it the other one like biting him or like trying to like maul him at one point? And the other baby's like trying to like dig his eyeballs out of his skull.
Yeah,
this one's not obedient.
This one wanted to eat me. It's a dinosaur. What did I expect? But yeah, there's a scene in where they like shows his research. I don't remember if it's when he's looking at it or when Maisie's looking at it later on. But it's something where it's like when he's training the velociraptors when they're young, he'll show a sign of weakness, and all of the baby velociraptors attack him when he shows weakness, except for Blue. Like Blue basically turns into a service animal for Chris Pratt. It's that fucking oh jeez, I didn't think of this till just now. It's that damn Unsolved Mysteries segment where a woman has a seizure and a dog like fucking flies in out of nowhere, and like a ghost dog or some shit, and it's your service animal for life, and it can predict her seizures. That's what Blue is for Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yep, service velociraptor. Do you think Delta would let me fly with that?
That would be a fantastic product tie-in or movie tie-on. So we're going home.
That should have been the post-credit scene.
Did you know there was a post-credit scene for this?
Yeah, I watched it.
I didn't.
The fucking credits were like 80 minutes long.
I found out on Wikipedia. I'm like, thank God, that's definitely not worth it.
Oh, it was so stupid. It was so stupid.
So next thing is he watches the baby video, and like they all go on this plane. And, like, the first thing I'm like, why are they taking, like, a charter plane to, like, did they take it to the island? Or...
I think so.
Or they take a boat. Because, like, they meet Buffalo Bill. And...
Oh, you talking about Captain Leland Stottlemyre?
See, we all have our names for Ted Levine. I don't think anybody knows who Ted Levine is. Like, everybody has their own version of him.
I legitimately had to look up his real name because I only know him as Captain Leland Stottlemyre from Monk.
He's another character actor. He's not a Guy McFace. He's just whatever movie anybody knows him from.
Yep. Oh yeah, he's great in Monk. I'm sure he's great in whatever else he's in. He's cartoony in this.
Well, he's a good character actor, but he really he leans into the cartooniness. Like, he was in, like, Evolution. I know one of Rob's.
Oh, that's right.
He was a general in that.
Yeah.
And it's the same character. He plays the same character a lot, where he's just, like, a cartoony buffoon, like, villain.
Yeah.
He's very villain of the week. And so I forget how they get to the island. I know they meet up with Buffalo Bill, Ted Levine.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, like, okay, we have to... Like, they arrive, like, they take, like, a truck. I don't know what happens. They get on a plane. Next thing you know, they're on a truck in the middle of Jurassic World. And they're taking a truck.
The movie does everything just to give the illusion of the story progressing and our characters like
things just happen.
But we don't see anything actually occur, you know? It's like every TV show where it's just like people are talking and they're walking and it's like, look, doesn't it make you think like something's happening? But we're just saying the plot again because you're fucking stupid and you can't remember it? I'm thinking of House in particular because they're always walking in that show. I thought of that. It was just movement, you know? It's just like, okay, yeah, it's a great, you know. After this is the 5th dinosaur movie, we got more big wide shots of islands. Cool. Let's just keep going. Come on.
Well, it's interesting you mention it because like as they're driving their trucks through Jurassic World, like the park is like in 112% state of disrepair. And I'm like, I get that. Like, if you have dinosaurs running around, which is very much established, the dinosaurs are just, like, roaming all over the place. But, like, there's certain elements of the park. Like, I am someone who loves, like, abandoned theme parks and, like, knows how, like a state of disrepair works. Like, how long it would take. Like, what was the TV show called? Like, Life After People. Like, how long it would take for certain, like, structures to crumble. Like, within, like, 3 years, like, most of the windows are going to be blown out. Like, that's not surprising, though. But, like, every shot we get of, like, the monorail... Like, the concrete pillars have collapsed. Like, there's no way a concrete pillar will collapse in 3 years. Like, you know how much effort that would take? Like, concrete lasts forever if it was poured correctly. And so, like, you see, another thing that really bugged me, this is, like, a really weird, like, nitpick. There's a scene where, like, they're driving, and you can see the monorail, like, up on the mountainside, and the monorail is literally parked in the middle, the middle of the tracks on the mountainside. And that doesn't make any sense. and I know this is weird, but I had to bring it up. Like, if somebody's driving a monorail, they have to bring it to a station to get off. Nobody just stops a monorail and gets off in the middle of nowhere and, like, shimmies down, like, the pylons.
Yeah,
and just starts
that's
walking.
what I was about to say. It's in a... I'm not remembering the exact shot that you're thinking of, but I'm guessing if it's in the middle of the tracks, you know, it's not near the ground. It's suspended, you know, in the air. Like you said, they have to climb down to get to safety still, right?
I guess, but even, like, I would imagine, too, it's like, when this park and everything kind of, like, hit the fan, it was not, again, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They are not just going to simply walk away from a multi-billion-dollar park.
Yeah.
It's not like they got everybody off the island. It's kind of like, imagine, like, again, once again, we're going to bring up 9/11. But, like, imagine if 9/11 happened, and, like, after 3 years of it being there, we just left the rubble where it was. It's like nothing happened. We just literally walked away from it for 3 years. Like, that just doesn't happen. Like, unless it's, like, radioactive, which I'm pretty sure it's not, you just don't walk away from something like that. Because, like, the moment you walk away, people will be in there trying to salvage every single part of it, trying to make money off of it.
There'd be pirates going to that island, trying to fight dinosaurs, trying to capture dinosaurs. Definitely.
Don't let Madman hear you. He might make another movie. He might get Jurassic World 1.5.
I think you think that would explain the whole Lockwood clone thing more?
It certainly wouldn't hurt. Because technically, the Maisie clone was cloned before. It's worth noting that, like, in the events, like, I don't know, like, they haven't given a date when John Hammond has died, but I would imagine, like, Maisie's 8 years old. Like, the original Jurassic Park is, like, what, 25 years old? So, like, they got into an argument about something that wouldn't happen for another 15 years?
Oh, my God, you're right. Yeah, well... Yeah, because if they were torn apart by this, it would have had to have been before the first movie. Is that what you're saying? Because we don't hear anything about Lockwood. You think Lockwood would be at this, you know, the whole point of the first movie is that he hires Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum to, like, be consultants and give a report on the Jurassic Park before it opens. Wouldn't Lockwood want to be there for that if he was still involved?
Well, like, even if they didn't do, like, Lockwood, like, in specifically, like, as a character, but, like, even like they do, like, in the Alien films, it's, like, Weyland-Yutani. Like, if you watch the original Alien movies, like, Weyland, I know it's, like, in the later films, it's, like, really a heavy plot point, but, like, in Alien and Aliens, Weyland-Yutani's a thing, though, but it's just the name of a company. It's, like, oh, Weyland-Yutani. But, like, in this, like, it'd be different. Like, you know what they should have done? James Cromwell's character, instead of being Lockwood, he should have been InGen. Like, oh, it's Mr. InGen. And it's like, oh, like, and Bryce Howard, like, oh, he's a person, not just a name. They're like, oh, we get that a lot. You can literally retcon him into the whole series by, like, 3 lines of dialogue without creating a brand new character that's, like, oh, God, shoved into the previous films. And, like, and again, I am a schmuck sitting on the computer on a Friday night, and I can outthink this movie.
That's a great idea, because it would also make so much sense that, like, the InGen guy, who would be more of, like, the corporate person, like the CEO type, that he would be the one who would be like, fuck it, I'm gonna clone somebody. Like, I want a daughter or a granddaughter, whatever. Like, yeah, you're right. It would have been perfect. That would have made so much sense.
And you could even play into it, like, where Bryce Howard's like, oh, I've never heard of him before. And it's like, yeah, after their split, Hammond kind of buried his name. And so it's like, you could literally, like, as her and Guy McFace are, like, walking from, like, the entrance to Cromwell's, like, bedroom, you could literally put that in there. Instead of having, like, oh, this is a beautiful dinosaur museum you have here in your home. Like, instead of, like, this fluff dialogue, it's, like, something that advances the plot forward. Or at least fills in holes that don't exactly make sense what you're doing right now, but at least make it connect. It's like, I think the Madman is another example of he's crapping in the food and wants to see how far he can get away with it.
Yep. And you're not getting it past us, Madman.
No, Madman. We are better film. At the very end, we might not be better filmmakers than him, but we are 100% better screenwriters than him. I feel firmly that if someone gave me a screenwriting test, if there is such a thing, I would be able to outperform Colin Madman Trevorrow. I'm putting it on the record. I am a better screenwriter than he is.
Let's start that podcast. Call it the screenwriting test. And I
like that.
We just kidnap famous people and make them do screenwriting things against us.
Oh my god. So where were we? Okay, so they go to the island. Pansy Man and female dinosaur nurse. They're all like driving with Ted Levine, and they see like okay. I have a booklet. I got it from the movie theater. Regal has a thing called a movie bill, and they have a list of all the some of the dinosaurs in the film.
Oh, wow!
I have the official names.
I didn't get fucking anything like that, Zach.
Well, that's because you didn't go to a Regal.
How much? You think? I don't even think the people who paid fucking $19 million a ticket got that.
Well, that would explain a lot. And so like they're driving through like the park, like the main like stretch from the first Jurassic World, where like the whole like climactic battle happened. Mm-hmm. And like they go outside, like I guess it was like the visitor center, and they see a Patosaurus, the one with the large, like the huge neck.
Okay.
And like dinosaur nurse is like, wow, I have to see it in person. And we're like, okay, fine. Like again, it's another, like Rob said, all these movies have to have the glamour shot, and it's always the same dinosaur type. Like it's always the giant dinosaur with the long neck. Like literally every single movie has that. The first one has it. The second one has it. Again, in the second one, it's Julianne Moore. I have no idea. I haven't seen the third movie in like 15 years, so I can't comment on that.
I think it's like, William H. Macy and the other lady.
No, but is it the same dinosaur? It's always the same dinosaur type. It's always that same dinosaur.
Yeah. It's the docile herbivore.
Yeah,
one of those
the long
types.
neck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
So you have that, and then they're like, oh, we have to go to like the control room. And I figured, oh, like the control room from Jurassic World 1 was like a major setting. Like I would imagine at least a fifth of that movie takes place in that control room.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that the control room guy from that movie doesn't even make an appearance in this. Like, wouldn't it make sense that he was the computer nerd that was working with Bryce? Like, wouldn't it make sense to have him come back and be, like, the guy who understood the computer systems, considering that he was running the park?
Yeah, him and Lauren Lupkus should have been in this movie.
Well, Lauren Lucas does nothing for her. She literally just leaves. Like, she just walks away. He tries to kiss her, and she just walks away.
That's what I think she should have been. She should have been in this movie for more awkward sexual tension, and they got to do the whole dinosaur sex thing with Bryce Howard and Chris Pratt. They should double down on the awkward sexual tension for the sequel. That's what I'm saying.
Like, that should have been, like, the computer... what's his name from the first one? What's the guy's name? He's somebody. I know I've seen him in other things.
Yeah, I don't know his name off the top of my head. Isn't he in, like, some sitcom or something? Or some show? TV show?
I know he was in The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
I didn't see that.
Jake Johnson,
okay.
Yeah. Like, it would have been really great that, like, Jake Johnson goes up to, what was her name?
Lauren Lupkus?
Lauren Lupkus. It's like, hey, how you doing? She's like, I'm pretty sure our lawyer said you couldn't talk after the sexual harassment case was up. Like, that's what they should have done.
Yes.
It's like, that's what they should have done. And it's like, oh, like you bring those, again, I don't know, I guess they're too big of actors now. I guess they're not cheap. Again, I guess they want to keep the budget down. They probably want too much money. But still, like, okay, so they go to the computer, like, control room, like, oh, let's give you the control room from Jurassic World. Nope. It's literally like a concrete broom closet with like a modem control panel behind like an electrical breaker board. And he's just like plugging like Ethernet cables into his computer. And it's like, okay, Bryce Howard, scan your hand. Okay. And like, it like wakes up the entire, like the computers. Then it's like, oh, now I need you to locate all the dinosaurs. And like 70 lights light up on the display. And it's like, okay, narrow it. And then they ask Chris Pratt, what was Blue's code name? He's like, D9. And I really had to stop myself from yelling, you sunk my dinosaur. Like, I really had to stop from saying that because I wanted to. And he types in D9 and like it like pinpoints Blue.
Oh my god, that is too funny. I'm tempted to go. If I can get another coupon, I'll go see this movie again and scream that in the theater.
Scream that in the theater.
I really wanted. That is fucking funny, Zach.
We'll have to get back to theater going experience because there's something I want to say about that, but we'll save that for the end.
Okay.
And so that happens.
And some Scrabble ship from Simpsons. sunk my Scrabble ship.
Can you isolate that raptor?
I need a species code.
D9.
You sunk my Scrabble ship!
This game makes no sense.
Tell that to the good men who just lost their lives. Semper Fi.
And so he turns around to Ted Levine. He's like, I have to go alone. She can smell like my scent from like a mile away. Mm-hmm. And so like the next scene is like Chris Pratt like walking through the jungle, and he sees like it's worth noting, he sees an upside down Jurassic Park car.
Yeah.
It's like what? Because like if you remember from the first Jurassic World, the two kids escape in that into the park.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I can only imagine it was or supposed to be a reference to.
So the only other car we see in that film is the one that Chris Pratt couldn't fix.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure Indominus Rex steps on it. So like I guess there was more. Like again, I guess between the events of Jurassic Park 1 and this, nobody has gone in and tried salvaging any of this.
Yeah.
It's worth noting that even in the first Jurassic World, Jake Johnson's character is like, I bought this shirt off eBay for $150, which unless Hammond had shirts made that weren't shipped to the park yet, somebody obviously had to get to the park and salvage it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like honestly, you're so right. What the fuck are we supposed to believe? That like just everybody is so afraid of dinosaurs, no one wanted to touch this island? Like clearly that's not the case because these movies are still happening. Like if these people aren't afraid of the dinosaurs, the pirates, the looters, the scientists, XYZ, whatever,
the governments of the world.
Exactly. That like what the fuck? I don't know.
It's weird. So you have that. And he goes, I have to go alone. He sees Blue. Chris Pratt's erection leads him to Blue. And Blue just shows up. And he's like making the weird clicking noises with his hand. And he like tries to feed Blue like a mouse. And like the mouse just falls out, like just bounces off Blue's face. And he's like, well, I guess things have changed. And then out of nowhere, Ted Levine's like 40-man crew shows up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, they already established that you cannot get the jump on a raptor.
Yes.
Like if Blue saw 40 people, Blue would just like start attacking them one by one and probably would have spared Chris Pratt. And it's like, what? It's like, and like obviously they corner Blue. Chris Pratt tells them like, stay back. They tranquilize her a couple times. It takes a couple seconds to wear on. Mm-hmm. She attacks one of the guards. He shoots her. And then Ted Levine shoots Chris Pratt like in the chest with a tranquilizer dart. Nurse dinosaur nurse is like takes like Chris Pratt's guns, like I'm gonna shoot you, Teddy Levine, if you don't like not kill Chris Pratt. But like if he wanted to kill Chris Pratt, he could have very easily shot him instead of tranquilizing him. Yeah. So clearly he doesn't want to kill Chris Pratt, but sure, make this pointless scene go on longer than it has to. And like Ted Levine's like, I could shoot you, or you better save the dinosaur, or I'll shoot you. And it's like fine. It's like whatever.
Glad that's our motivation.
Well, yeah, it's like that great scene from like Inglourious Bastards where it's like I forget who it is. It's like one of the characters says like to Brad Pitt, it's like, this is a Mexican standoff we have here. And whoever it was, Brad Pitt's like, no, my guys can shoot you and we'll be done.
Yeah.
Like, Mexican standoff means you got guns on us. And it's like, well, I have guns on the girl. And he's like, yeah, we don't really care about her though.
Hey, Willie, what's with the machine gun? I thought we had us a deal.
We do have a deal. Now get the girl and go.
Not so fast. We only got a deal. We trust each other. And a Mexican standoff ain't trust.
Whoa, you need guns on me for it to be a Mexican standoff.
You got guns on us. You decide to shoot, we're dead. Up top, they got grenades. They dropping down here, you're dead. That's a Mexican standoff, and that was not the deal. No trust, no deal.
And that's what it is, though. It's like it's not a standoff of like one party is completely unnecessary.
Yeah. So before we go on, I do actually want to say the one scene that I actually really liked, we just kind of got through. It is a very quick, maybe not a scene, but a sequence. The quick sequence of when Blue attacks Captain Leland Stottlemeyer's dude, and he's like, "Don't shoot it!" and then the guy shoots it. I really liked because it was like quick camera pacing, like switching between them, and I thought it was done really well. Like I thought that was actually like because I knew he was gonna shoot him. Yeah. Like it was because Chris Pratt's like, "Don't shoot my lover," And I'm like, okay, it's clearly getting shot. Like, they want the raptor. This is going to be a problem for them because they're going to injure it. But the way they did it, like the cinematography and the pacing, I actually thought was interesting. And that stood out to me.
I think it's amazing. Like I said, no, I know what you mean. Now that I remember back to it, it's a lot of quick cutting.
Yeah, I really like that.
It's efficient storytelling, which is very rare in this film.
Yes.
And it's yeah. Okay. Like I said, if it's like if you're going why would you let anybody really live ammunition? Like if you're going hunting for one dinosaur, why would you allow anybody live ammunition? Exactly.
They should have given everybody just the tranquilizer guns or stun guns, right? Or whatever the fuck else you need against a dinosaur that won't kill it.
And also sort of thing, considering that Lockwood has all these resources to again, considering that B.D. Wong is still involved with all this, you'd think they would have why did they need Bryce Howard's doctor or dinosaur nurse? You're telling me they don't have their own dinosaur nurses?
Yeah, they all got eaten. They all got shot. They all, who knows?
You'd think on that boat, after they escaped the island, you'd be like, oh, we have a couple of them here. You'd think you'd have scientists. If they're going to clone these things and you need them you need them so badly. And plus, why do you even need them? B.D. Wong has all the original samples. Just redo, just make them over again. And they keep talking, again, we're getting to that later on, though. But, why do you even need to say that, outside of the fact the script wants us to go back to the island, why do you need to save any of these dinosaurs? If they said we need to get Blue because Blue is special, that's fine. But why do they need dinosaurs other than Blue? Just create new ones.
Yeah, exactly. I think you said it best. The script makes us. Exactly. The one thing, it's just, I will say, to not to completely be on the side of this movie, I'm happy that we got some Extraction Jackson going on. They had to do the Extraction Jackson of the dinosaurs, so they carried out Extraction Jackson. At the same time, all the dinosaurs were also Extraction Jackson. You know what I'm talking about. Our audience knows. I think they understand.
There are many Jacksons that were extracted.
Extracted, Day of the Jackson. But yeah,
that's gonna be the 7th film.
That's
okay. So you have that.
Yeah, we have
Chris Pratt tranquilized. They take Blue. Blue's bleeding out.
And then it's they all try and leave the island, right?
No. This is
no. What am I
missing? Go back to Bryce Howard and Sissy Man, and they're still in the control room.
Oh, they
get locked in the
gyrosphere. Yeah.
Before that, they get locked in the control room.
Okay.
Remember that? They get locked in the control room, and they die. And she keeps yelling at Sissy Computer Man, unlock the door. She's like, I can't. I'm trying. Which is, it's funny, for being a computer whiz, he has a hard time doing all of what he has to do. He struggles at everything he does. And he's like, oh, at the end of the spillway, or down the tunnel or the drain, apparently in the control room there's a drainage tunnel. And it's I unlocked the door at the end. Then a giant red blip happens, and he's like, is it the T-Rex? And she's like, it's not the... At least if it's said once, it's said 100 times by this character, the computer Sissy. Is it the T-Rex? Is it the T-Rex?
Is it the T-Rex? It's the T-Rex. It's the T-Rex. It's the T-Rex. Claire, it's the T-Rex. It's the T-Rex. It's the T-Rex.
No, it's not the T-Rex. Probably.
Probably?
It's ridiculous.
Jesus Christ. It's just, it's enough. It's not funny. It's not the T-Rex. We know the T-Rex is going to show up out of nowhere all of a sudden. It's going to disappear again. And so, they look, and it's a dinosaur. Apparently, there's apparently a dinosaur had been waiting outside this door for 3 years just for someone to unwittingly unlock it so it could come in. So it comes running in, and as the dinosaur comes running in, the volcano starts to explode.
Yeah. Oh.
Erupt.
Okay. Yep.
And so it starts to erupt, and it creates a barrier between them and the dinosaur, and they're trapped. I'm like, oh, and, as I'm watching this scene unfold, I'm like, oh, they're going to escape because a piece of lava is going to hit the wall, or something's going to happen, or it's going to knock the dinosaur out, and they're going to run through a hole that the lava created.
Sure.
And I'm like, that's clever.
Yep.
No. Despite the fact they've been locked in this room for a half an hour, Bryce Howard knows there's a stairway to an emergency hatch and just climbs up it.
Yeah.
It was there the entire time. The lava or the dinosaur had nothing to do with it. It was just there the entire time. She just, despite the fact of being locked in this room, nobody knows the emergency hatch.
It was suspenseful moment C.
But it's not suspenseful when it was there the entire time.
Oh, absolutely. So it's not suspenseful, but that's what the script thinks. It's just like, oh, we need a dinosaur to attack somebody. So, yeah, let's just, they got suspenseful moment A,
but why
suspenseful
even
moment
put
B.
the emergency hatch there?
I don't know.
Have a piece of lava, like the dinosaur's about to eat them. They hear like an explosion. The dinosaur looks up. Next thing we know, a piece of lava like hits it in the head, knocks it out. And they go, that was lucky. And they run out the little like tunnel that the dinosaur came in. Like, wouldn't that make more sense instead of them coming up a hatch, or even have it like knock the dinosaur out temporarily and it tries chasing them down the tunnel? Like, why just like, again, it's like having like, imagine the movie Backdraft with fires and every scene where people are trapped. It's like, oh wait, there was an emergency door this entire time outside. Isn't that lucky? Again, it's like the madman and his writing partner Derek Connolly would paint themselves into a corner and be like, quick, we have to paint ourselves a door out of here. And that's what it would be. It's like everything is like, it's not Deus Ex Machina, but like everything's just created to get them out of a corner they've backed themselves into.
Yes, that's a really good point. That I completely agree with. Just like I said in our Claws episode, they were just like, oh man, we have all these great ideas of shit that could go wrong. Let's jam as many as we can, as close together as possible. When we have to get out of those situations, what do? Oh, well, quick writing. Quick, poor, sloppy writing. And that's a lot of what we described in this movie so far. Yep, I agree.
All right, so the next scene is Chris Pratt starts to wake up and sees that the lava's coming toward him. We see it melt the Jurassic Park car that we already mentioned, and because he's paralyzed, his muscles are, I guess he still doesn't have feeling in his muscles, in some of the most cringe-worthy body comedy I've ever seen. We see him, like, weirdly contort his body, like, over logs.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just so, I remember, like, Rob still hasn't seen The Wolf of Wall Street.
I have, actually.
Oh.
I was going to bring this up. It reminded me of The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes, and Leonardo DiCaprio is trying to get, when he's high on Quaaludes, and
I
he's
was
trying to get
tempted
into his
to
Lamborghini.
scream that in my theater. Like, in that scene, I was tempted to be like, Chris Pratt's found some ludes!
I wanted to yell, put down the phone!
It's fucking good, right? It's fucked up.
Jordan! Your daughter's in the house. I hope you know that.
Oh, yeah, I think Chris Pratt took a lot of inspiration from Leo for this part of the movie.
But, like, this is one of those things that people have to give, like, Leonardo DiCaprio credit for. It's like, he does that in that movie, and he sells it, like, 101%. And, like, he makes it look so effortless. Like, you would imagine if somebody told you, like directed you, like, imagine you're high on Quaaludes, and you have to, like, maneuver your body downstairs and into a car. And it's like you think about that. He does it so effortlessly in that movie. And in this, it's just so awkward. Watching Chris Pratt, like, contort his body. And it's like, and he's, like, moving in a way, like, where, like, if your muscles just gave out, you wouldn't have feeling in those muscles. Mm-hmm. Like, this is how he's moving. Like, one of the first things he does is, like, he, like, rolls over, like, on his back, but he smushes his face into the ground so he can, like, do, and, like, that's, if you lost control of your, by the time you started regaining, like, motor abilities, that would not be how it would work. Like, whatever. That's just, like, again, it's weird, because that's just not how the body works. But anyway, though, and so, like, whatever, he gets over the log, he somehow escapes the lava. Like Rob said, Bryce Howard and Sissy Computer Man are, like, running down the hill, like, during the dinosaur stampede. They are running. Rob, stop me if there's something you want to talk during this part. Stuff happens. Like a dinosaur starts chasing them. The T-Rex shows up out of nowhere, saves them, winks at Chris Pratt, and then runs away. The dinosaur actually runs toward the T-Rex runs toward the lava after that scene. It's worth noting. It doesn't run away. It literally runs toward the lava.
It's going to go save other people. It's like a superhero T-Rex.
Oh, my God.
He's like,
I'm off
to stop another crime.
I guess it's supposed to be the same dinosaur from Jurassic World and the first film, right?
Oh, fuck. That's right. I forgot it. I totally got that it was supposed to be the same dinosaur from Jurassic World, the same T-Rex. I totally forgot, but we did talk about that it's supposed to be the same dinosaur from 25 fucking years ago.
Guess. That's what I'm guessing.
So, so there should be fucking 2 dinosaurs on this island after 3 years. There should be the T-Rex, because it ate a lot of the dinosaurs and kept alive. And then it should be the fucking Shamu dinosaur, because it ate the other dinosaurs, right?
I guess. Like
every other dinosaur except maybe some pterodactyls should be alive. Should be dead. Yeah.
So, like, okay, the T-Rex runs into it goes back to the flaming building, and Chris Pratt puts his silver medal of love interest in the gyrosphere along with the sissy computer man. They go run over the cliff. Like I think it's in all the marketing. They're like running over the cliff.
Yeah.
They're still in the gyrosphere. Chris Pratt has to save them. This is once again understanding how theme parks work. There is no amusement like a park vehicle that does not have like an emergency like release switch. The point where Chris Pratt has to save them by like he's trying. This is a scene where I genuinely laughed. I want to know if Rob thought this one.
When he's shooting at it.
No, yes, but right before he pulls his gun. Okay, this is like Sam Raimi level of camp. Like this is something you expect from like Evil Dead. He's trying to like break into it. He can't. He finds like a gun. I don't know where he finds the gun. And because if it's worth knowing that Teddy Levine takes the gun away from him, or like takes it away from a dinosaur nurse. So Chris Pratt loses his gun. And somehow he found a gun in the water.
Yep. Yep.
And so he takes the gun out, waves it at Bryce Howard and the computer guy, and then makes a small motion with his hands for them to scoot back.
Yes.
And then proceeds to shoot the gyrosphere until after he only gets 2 shots and the gun falls out of his hands. At the point in the movie where he does a little wave for them to scoot back out of the line of fire, I lost it. I started just laughing because think about it.
Weird.
It's such a silly moment. That clearly that's not a Colin Madman Trevorrow scene because it's something that he would not put in the script. So that's something that was devised on set, or at the very least that was done during like the pre-production process by the director. And then like I thought that was hilarious. Like I lost it. Like there's a couple of scenes in this movie that are just so hilarious. Like they're intentionally hilarious because like clearly it was thought of. Like we're gonna do this on purpose. It's not like the inadvertent things like insert Colin Trevorrow madness here. And so like, okay, so Chris Pratt has like, he shoot, like lava hits the thing, it doesn't break. He shoots it, it doesn't break. He takes his knife out and starts like prying like the door off, and that's what causes it eventually to open up. At this point, they've been underwater for like 6 minutes, and it's been sinking this entire time. So they all swim to the top.
It's like a James Bond movie. I always hate that some of the old James Bond movies, he holds his breath for like half an hour. Yeah. It felt like this. They had their breath held for so fucking long.
Oh god! So you have that, and then like they swim toward the surface, and next thing you know, they've all washed up on a beach. None of the dinosaurs have washed up on the beach, but the people have. And they're sitting there, and like Bryce Howard and Chris Pratt are like, "God damn them! Like they betrayed us." I'm like, oh man, Chris Pratt, only you watch the trailers, you would have seen this coming.
Yeah. Or if you just like had a normal thought, you know.
Yeah, it's like multi-billion-dollar corporation wants to save the animals.
Nothing could go wrong.
Why would they wait 3 years to save the animals?
Exactly.
So
that should have been Chris Pratt's first fucking question.
That should have been. Again, like you know, a great Jurassic World sequel. It's like the movie picks up exactly where the first one leaves off. Like the movie begins, they're all like in that like what would be like survivors like like aircraft hangar.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody comes to Chris Pratt and it's like this is damage control. It's like people are going to start like pilfering and looting the island. Like we need to get back there as fast as we can and save as many dinosaurs. And like that's what this should have been a movie that should have picked up exactly after the first one, and then like we need to get a handle on this, and you're the only person that's competent enough and honest enough to do this. And it should have been, instead of having again the multi-billion-dollar corporations the bad guy, it should have been people like the government's gonna be here like within like 6 hours, and they're gonna try to take they're gonna confiscate everything.
Yeah,
we need to like for the protection of like the creatures, for science, we need to get these creatures out of here as fast as we can. Like, there's some island that's owned by like a multi-billionaire that said like that's how you introduce a Lockwood. Like, there's an island that like he feels that like what like Hammond did was wrong, and it's like he was Hammond's partner, but Hammond cheated him for like a financial gain, and that's what it should have been. Like, it takes place like minutes. Like you see Judy Greer escort 2 stupid kids out of the survivor's tent, and it begins right there. And Bryce Dallas, think about it, Bryce Dallas Howard has no motivation in this movie. It's like save dinosaurs, and her entire like character arc is resolved in the first 40 minutes.
Pretty much. Her only motivation later on is that they're trying to sell dinosaurs, and that's bad.
It's like, oh my god. So okay, so we go back. They're on the beach, and it's worth noting that last time we saw the T-Rex, it was running into the house on fire. And then the next thing we know, we see a helicopter literally dragging it at some point. So, like, in between the island erupting and then being washed on shore, they somehow captured the T-Rex, loaded it onto, like, a helicopter, and are bringing it to, like, the loading dock. And it's like, oh my god, it's like, what is going on in this movie?
Once again, they're just giving us the illusion that things are occurring, and we don't actually get to see a damn scene ever really fully carried out.
It's just like a series of events happening. It's just like things happening, and they're all just strung together by the title of the film.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that is exactly why I have the feeling that I mentioned at the start, where I was just trying to figure out what the fuck the plot of this movie was. Because
none.
Exactly. That's what I think I'm realizing, is that because I was like, okay, I get it. They got to do Extraction Jackson, so we go back to the island and see more dinosaurs. Okay, fine. And then they leave the island, and I'm like, okay, well, what are they going to do now? And then B.D. Wong shows up, and it's like, oh, okay, well, we just have a different movie now, apparently. And so, yeah, it's just, there is no plot. Like you said, sequence of events, they're strung together, and thankfully it ends at some point.
Yes. Unfortunately, this particular film ends, but the franchise will never end.
Yes. Yeah.
So we have the island is still exploding at this point, and Bryce Howard, Chris Pratt, and Sissy Computer Man are like overlooking a cliff or like a ledge, and they're watching Ted Levine like putting all the dinosaurs onto a cargo transport.
Mm-hmm.
And because he was like, when they were in the control room, they're like, oh, we captured like 24 dinosaurs prior to us being here. So if you captured all of them, why are you waiting until like when everything's blowing up to load them?
Yeah.
And so it's like, whatever. So you have that happen. You see like all these trucks and like vehicles loading the dinosaurs onto like the cargo ship.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we have to sneak on board. And they see Blue with the dinosaur nurse, and they're like, okay. And so we see Teddy Levine's like walking around. There's like a Stegosaurus, like one of the big, like the long but like squat dinosaurs. And he like goes over to it. And he's like, because somebody's like driving it onto the ship. He's like, wait, hold on a second, son. And he goes over to the dinosaur and he's like, oh, you're a pretty one, aren't you? He opens its mouth takes a pair of pliers out, rips its teeth out, and it's like, yeah, and and then it says like a very Deliverance-esque line, like, yeah, that's a pretty one right there. And like he sticks like his finger in his belly button and starts like rubbing it. It's like disgusting. And he's like,
you're gonna feel that when you wake up.
It's like, ugh, it's like this is like the Chris Pratt like dinosaur love stuff is like off-putting, but this is just like sick almost. It's like this guy's like getting off to like ripping teeth out of a dinosaur's mouth. I'm like, why is this in the movie?
Oh yeah, there was some nipple action too. I think he rubbed his nipples.
Yeah, and he started like, and like everyone's like kind of looking at each other and then they'll do it themselves. I'm pretty sure it was an outtake. It just made it into the film by accident.
It was Ted Levine didn't know he was being filmed. And he just had the prop in front of him, and then they just put it in the movie because it happened to work.
and the director's like it was Colin Trevorrow. I'm pretty sure it's like, you have to put this in the film, and the director's like, madman, like, this is weird, this is off-putting. Nope, it stays in. That's why it's in the movie now.
This might get us an R rating, and he's like, oh, we can cut it down. We can cut it down, make it family friendly.
Oh my god! And so like as this scene happened though. And me being the rational human being that I am, I'm thinking back to what happened earlier when they saw off the Indominus Rex tooth. I'm like, oh, isn't that clever? Like, oh, if the dinosaur dies, they'll have at least the DNA in its tooth. I'm like, that's because it shows him like after he like rubs it on his junk, he like puts it like in a little like a bandana with a bunch of other teeth.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, he's saving it. Like if there's something goes wrong, this is his fail-safe. Like if the ship sinks or something happens, like he'll have the DNA.
But
so I'm like,
that's another big reveal.
That's another big reveal.
Why he actually wants the dinosaur.
Why he's actually taking the dinosaur teeth is part of a sequence that's just my favorite in the film, and it's probably one of my favorite. At the end of this year, for movies I've seen in theaters, will probably be one of my top 3 favorite moments of the year.
It was a doozy.
it's a great moment in cinematic. It is a get up and clap moment, but it's applause worthy. But we'll get to that in due time. Keep in mind, folks, we've been talking for an hour and a half, and we're maybe a third of the way through this movie. Okay, we got to pick this up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot that we can just blow through when we get back to the mansion and
the mansion's stupid. Like, the movie just kind of like becomes really dumb during the mansion parts. But anyway, though, and so Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard and Sissy Man steal a truck. They drive onto the truck. And we see like the island explode, and probably the non-cynical best, one of the best parts of this film is as the ship is driving away, we see I gotta get my little instructional pamphlet out. We see the same long like neck dinosaur, the Apatosaurus. We see it in silhouette on the boat dock as the island's exploding, and hear it crying out in misery as it's being consumed by lava. And I know it's worth noting that for some reason it's the same dinosaur that we talked about in our Jurassic World episode where Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard are like soothing it while it dies.
Oh, the emotional one. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same type of dinosaur. And it's
the same dinosaur? You think the dinosaur from the first movie came back to life?
Well, I can only hope that. Unfortunately, I don't think it has the Rip Van Winkle genes of the Tyrannosaurus Rex of the series. Unfortunately, only one dinosaur on the island got that gene, the live forever, the immortality gene.
Yeah,
But like, this is one of I think the only scene in the film outside of, maybe including the baby blue scenes, where like you actually like, again, I have more sympathy for the computer-generated effect than I do the human being actors.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, because you can feel this thing is suffering. And it's done because you see it like slightly through the ash clouds, and then everything after that's just it's silhouette as it's being consumed by lava. And like you do feel for this, even though I know Rob's probably a sociopath, and much like Ted Levine was probably rubbing his belly button during this part. But like for most people, I imagine they felt some sort of like empathy and sorrow for this creature dying in this horrific fashion. But I like that. I said that's probably the best scene in the entire film, excluding cynical laughter. So the boat is going to it's another very comical scene. Like we see the GPS of the boat heading toward the Lockwood estate. And you know, it's not established at all. The Lockwood estate is like built on top of like the coast of the Pacific Ocean. Literally, like, you know, in the establishing shots, it's surrounded by woods. Later in the film, it is like has like a huge, what would you like a bay?
It's its own port, I think.
Pretty much, it's its own port because like if you have a cargo, like most people don't. I don't know if most people know this though. Like if you have like a cargo ship, you need like a huge deep bay where a cargo ship can dock.
Yeah,
like you can't just have like that's the reason why like there's like shipping ports. So you need that deep basin. You can't just have like a ship plow into like a sand barrier. And so anyway, though, so like we see a very comical thing of like the ship's called the Arcadia, and it's like slowly trekking from like off the coast of Costa Rica to the Lockwood estate. And this is another one of the greatest scenes in the film. Not the best. Is Guy McFace is like in the dinosaur like museum room, and Toby Jones is there. Playing sleazy villain number 12. I'm sorry, sleazy corporate villain number 12. Gotta be more specific.
Okay.
And Guy McFace is like, or I'm sorry, Toby Jones is like, because they were supposed to be here yesterday. He's like, they'll be here in 6 hours.
Because they mention, well, I think Ted Levine or someone while they're on the island mentions that they're a day behind, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. And
so
now Toby Jones is just pissed about this.
Pissed off because clearly you can get dinosaurs from any other place on the face of Earth. Like if you can't get your dinosaurs here, you just get them like at the Walmart or the Costco.
I'm going to China for my dinosaurs, damn it. Fuck buying American dinosaurs.
Exactly. Get your lovely off-brand dinosaur. And these ones, well, the thing about this is these ones come with a little JP logo on the legs. The other ones don't. So he has an upper hand. So Guy McFace is like, yo, Toby Jones, you know what? I can get you like $2 million a species. And I'm like, and Toby Jones is like, I make that by breakfast. And I'm turning around like, $2 million for a dinosaur sounds like what? Like the price of it, like this is an extinct creature.
Yeah, I think that's less than like cranes and construction equipment. Yeah.
It's like, so I'm like, what? And then like, so Toby Jones is about to walk away, and Guy McFace is like, give me 10 minutes. And like, so him and Toby Jones like go into like this weird like giant elevator. It's like, imagine like 3 garage doors wide. And like this is like there's a couple, like we've seen Maisie a couple times at this point though, but like those scenes are stupid. She's like yelling at her grandfather and like stupid stuff. But it's not important.
Doesn't she have a British accent or something?
Well, of course. Why not? She's living in California her entire life. Why wouldn't she have a British accent?
Lockwood just cloned that in. He was like, I want a granddaughter. Yeah, British accent. Why not?
The name Maisie was so British, it just rubbed an accent off on her.
Yep.
So like they go into like this elevator. Maisie like sneaks in somehow. No, she sneaks in later, doesn't she?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
whatever. She's there for all intents and purposes, and he's explaining Guy McFace is explaining to Toby Jones like what they're doing. It's like, oh, we're gonna sit there like clone dinosaurs. Like we can sit there do this, blah blah blah. Is this when BD Wong first shows up?
No, I think that's when Maisie sneaks in, because I think the reveal of BD Wong is like we don't see who he's talking to at first, and then Maisie's like hiding in the corner or something, and then they show.
Oh, gotcha. All right, so you're right. Maisie shows up later. So anyway, though, Toby Jones is convinced he'll wait the extra like 6 hours, and then we see Maisie sneak into the facility. She's like looking around, and she sees a very convenient video queued up on somebody's computer of the research of Chris Pratt with Baby Blue. And she watches all this, even though it has nothing to do with the plot whatsoever at this point. Like, why would somebody have that queued up? Like, there's like, it's funny. This is a laboratory, and there's nobody around. Nobody. Yeah. And it's just like, I guess they couldn't hire extras. I guess they ran out of money.
I also don't think there would be anyone there looking at those files, because isn't the whole point of them getting Blue is that they just need its blood for the Indoraptor or some shit like that? They need or for more maybe not the Indoraptor, but from other dinosaurs that they want to sell or something.
Well,
it's just its blood. Like, who gives a fuck what it did when it was a baby? Like, just capture it, strap it down, take its blood. You're done. Like, why would anyone even need to watch that research?
I don't know. I don't know why it would be queued up in a laboratory where there's no people. It looks like nobody's ever been in it once before.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's like someone needed to watch it. What the movie wants us to think is someone needed to watch it and then just was like, oh, I'm going to go eat now, paused it, and then completely forgot about it. And it's just been sitting there for like a week or something.
It's as if a production assistant set it up for the actress to watch it because the script said so.
It was that time in the script.
It's that time in the script. And so, like I said, so she sneaks down there. We see BD Wong, and it's like played like some giant reveal, despite the fact that we know that he's off in the ether. Despite the fact that Vincent D'Onofrio puts him on a helicopter, and it's like, I guess, like, it's never out. Is Vincent D'Onofrio's character ever even referenced in this?
Nope, and I'm glad that's a good point. We don't get the BD-VD combo. We just get BD. We get BD with no VD.
No.
Which in some contexts is a good thing. Some contexts, it's a bad thing. And in this context, it's a bad thing.
We got a BD-VD combo, hold the VD.
And in this movie, that's bad.
Yeah, because, like, Vincent D'Onofrio wanted to weaponize these creatures. He's wiped out. And, like, that was all InGen. And then, like, we go to Lockwood, they have the exact... Like, I honestly think that somebody forgot to call Lockwood, like, Industries InGen. Like, it would have been, again, has a different company had the same idea all of a sudden? Like, how did B.D. Wong find out about these people? It's like, I imagine people who want to weaponize dinosaurs is a rather spread out community. I doubt they have conventions every year, just like waiting, like biding their time. But yet B.D. Wong found them somehow, despite the fact of all hell breaking loose. But so
there we go. That would have been another plot of this movie. It picks up right after the first one, and everybody with Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard are like, we gotta fucking save these dinosaurs because people are gonna come in and try and weaponize them because some government or something wants to like take raptors and put guns on them, that type of stuff.
Exactly. We don't want them on the black market. We don't want the government to have it. We don't want anybody having them.
Yes, but thank God that wasn't a problem for 3 years. Like, woo!
Yeah, good thing everybody kind of kept their distance and was hands off.
Yeah, it was just a respectful 3 years moments of silence in the black market for dinosaurs.
There was a giant no trespassing sign. I was like, oh, damn, man. Yeah. You can't violate that.
Someone was like, hey, can we sell these dinosaurs yet? No, too soon.
Never mind, they're still the property of InGen. Like,
yeah, yep.
They still own it. It's like, I don't even think there's a line of dialogue in this where it's like, even if they said Lockwood Industries bought out InGen, like, that would make sense.
Anything, just to, it could have been so subtle, so brief, like you just said, just to give us any reasonable connection to what the fuck has been going on for 3 years.
It's just, again, it's like The Lost World. It's the same thing. It's like, why does Jeff Goldblum have to go back on the island? Well, because his daughter's there. Well, why is his, like, or no, his daughter's not there until after he gets her. But it's like, why is he there? Oh, his girlfriend's there.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a contrived reason. And it's like, I can't think about it. They had 3 years to make this movie, or at least like a year to write a script, and this is the best they could do. And so anyway, so you have Maisie. She sees the stuff. B.D. Wong is telling Guy McFace, like, I need more time. Give me more time. With a generic guy, like the scientist saying, I need more time. And while Maisie's down there hearing this, a dinosaur like gets too close to her. She like screams and runs away.
Runs away. Yeah.
And Guy McFace locks her in her bedroom.
Yeah.
And like that happens. That's a thing.
But we have to remember, it's not the next scene, but we do get the reveal that Guy McFace not only locks her in her bedroom, but leaves the key in the lock, knowing it's like a fucking one of those like archaic old-time mansion locks where like if the key's still in there, you can get out. Like that was terrible, right?
Yeah.
Like that is
contrived.
Fucking terrible. All of
it's
the
archaic, yeah.
All of the damn technology they have, the $1 million conveyor belt they built for the dinosaur cages, and they couldn't update their locks? Like, get the fuck out of here.
And it's worth noting that in this building, too, that at one point later in the film, they're trying to reboot, like, all the systems. The lights are connected to the internet. Like, all the lights are actually... So, like, they wired the house so the lights are internet-enabled, yet a door has the most old... Oh, my... whatever.
Yes, and we haven't mentioned... Maisie's main form of transportation is a dumbwaiter. That's a dumbwaiter. I think that's the name, right? Dumbwaiter.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot
this
about
dumbwaiter. This dumbwaiter goes to like the laboratory level, right? Like that's fucking ridiculous.
Of course, because come on, Rob. Everybody needs a dumbwaiter in the dungeon of their mansion.
Doesn't she get in the dumbwaiter when she is in her grandpa's room, or when she sees that Lockwood is dead, or doesn't that happen, or something?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment.
And then she runs to the dumbwaiter, and it's just like, thank God I can transfer my, dinosaur DNA from the basement up to my bedroom. Like, that's what I want as the CEO of this company. Like, what the fuck?
Like, imagine, like, you're like, Lockwood, and you're, like, you're in your bed, and, like, you hear, like, dinosaurs screaming from, like, the dumbwaiter. It's like, what was that? That's just the dinner being cooked. Sounds like a scream.
I think he's usually like, Maisie wasn't the first clone. He had to go through a few iterations of clones, so he just would sit in his room and have them send up clones through the dumbwaiter, and he'd see if he liked him or not.
Like, this is what they'd be discussing toward the end, though, but, like, think about it. I would imagine, like, even though, like, making dinosaurs weapons of war is, like, probably a very profitable venture, I would imagine cloning a human being with no defects is an exponentially much more worthwhile enterprise than cloning dinosaurs for military applications.
That's a fantastic point, Zach. Our audience won't have heard it, but like I said when we discussed Akira, like why the fuck isn't the movie about the machine that can detect the birth of a universe? Why isn't this movie about we have like perfect cloning technique now, apparently, you know? Exactly.
Oh my god. So you have that, and while this is all going on, Chris Pratt's trying to save Blue, because Blue needs blood because she's bleeding out from her gunshot wound.
Yes.
Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard get a blood donation from the T-Rex. It's worth noting that Bryce Howard does ride the T-Rex in that scene. She is straddling it, so we'll give the movie partial credit.
The dinosaur is strapped down though. So I don't know. It's kind of like half credit, maybe quarter credit.
Well, at this point, beggars can't be choosers. So I'm going to give it to them. I would
say what the movie gave to us is the equivalent of like a little kid riding a dinosaur little thing outside of a supermarket, like a horse, not a horse, but a dinosaur. Like they put a quarter in, and it just kind of gyrates for a minute. That's basically the equivalent of what Bryce Howard did, because the dinosaur was like all fucked up or tranquilized, and she was straddling it. So she basically rode a kid's ride.
Essentially, and that scene it's a cute scene, but it goes nowhere. Like there's really nothing like egregious in it.
Yeah.
And the dinosaur wakes up. They escape. They give the blood to Blue. Blue's fine. Like, and while this is all going on, I think isn't this the point where Maisie's watching the videos of him?
I think
she's cutting back to like her as a baby, and it's trying to imply, oh, she might die.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and then dinosaur nurse like she's gonna be all right. I'm like, how do you know that?
Like, yeah, you never treated any real dinosaurs before fucking today.
And like, how'd you even treat how'd you even stitch up the dinosaur? It's like it has a wound.
Yeah.
But again, never explained, but why not?
The blood. We're gonna have to talk about. So we have to remember that for later on in a BD scene.
Yeah, that's actually a great line. That is a very campy, great line of dialogue.
So Blue. So in this scene that we're on right now, Blue gets T-Rex blood put in him. That's what happens. So we got to remember that for later.
Yeah,
which also, fucking. I guess all dinosaurs have the same blood type. Like, if they're of a similar species?
There is a line of dialogue about that.
What? Can you remind me?
There is a line where, because Dinosaur Nurse says, I need to give her, she needs blood. And there's some line of dialogue from either Chris Pratt or Bryce Howard. And she's like, I need, or I think even the computer guy's like, is there a universal blood donor type for dinosaurs?
Oh.
She's like, I need a comparable, species type with a very similar diet. And they're trying to think what dinosaurs on this boat would have it. And they're like T-Rex. And there is a very small line of dialogue about that.
Okay, but the answer isn't good still.
No, but at least they try.
Okay.
We'll have to get the clip step in the right direction.
We'll get the clip.
At that.
Play the clip.
All of the animals should be stable, but for any kind of tetanura, their blood type should be close enough. But for carnivores with 2 or 3 fingers, no more than 3.
Did they play it? Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, we get some T-Rex blood into a raptor, and it works. Good. No problems with it at all.
No. So you have that, and I'm trying to think what happens next. They get to the Lockwood estate. They're unloading all the dinosaurs. Stop me if anything comes to mind. I don't think anything really interesting happens here. They unload all the dinosaurs. They find Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard. Computer guy gets mistaken for a ship hand, and he disappears for 30 minutes? He just disappears.
Yeah, and he pops up in a completely different role or something.
Well, he shows up during BD Wong.
Yeah, and BD Wong wants
but
to do. Yeah.
Him at that point, him and Dinosaur Nurse disappear for a full half an hour. The movie literally forgets they're there.
Yes,
and absolutely. Bryce Howard and Chris Pratt are locked up. And stuff happens, not really important. Maisie goes to Lockwood, and it's like, I need to talk to you about what Guy McFace is doing. He's like, go to bed.
Yeah.
She goes to bed, and 5 minutes, I don't know how many minutes later, Lockwood's confronting Guy McFace, and it's like, I am embarrassed by your actions, but I will spare you the humiliation by you calling the police yourself.
Pick up that phone. I want you to call the police. It'll be easier if the story comes from you.
Oh, that's right.
And very comically, there's like a cordless phone laying on a pillow, like very like almost like magnificently positioned, like is a phone that's being cushioned by like this beautiful like throw pillow. And Guy McFace picks up the phone. It's like, wouldn't it be a shame if I smothered you instead of calling the police? It's like he picks up the pillow. And I'm pretty sure the scene cuts after that.
Yeah, we don't see
him smother him. We don't see him smother him.
Yeah. I'm just hung up on that. I totally forgot about that line. The call the police yourself and turn yourself in. Like, just how that conversation would have gone to be like, yes, can I talk to you? Like, you call the cops, you call 911, whoever you call, and it's like, I want to talk to your dinosaur specialist. I'm selling dinosaurs on the black market. And I'd like to turn myself in. Like, there is no way any police officer would take that seriously, right? Even in the Jurassic Park, like, I'm thinking, well, they would call like their local precinct or something. Like, it would be someone walking a beat. They get a detective.
That's what it would have to be.
And they'd be like, sir, don't call this. Don't prank phone call the police. That's illegal, That's great. I want to say that to more people. Just turn yourself in. Here's a phone. Call the police. Turn yourself in. That's just you're asking to get killed, I think. Be like,
So stupid.
It's like this person just murdered somebody, and you're like, you should turn yourself in. Well, that's the equivalent of you saying, you should murder me too.
Oh my God. And so, like, stuff happens. Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard are locked up. Guy McFace goes down there, and she's like, I'm going to tell Lockwood about everything you've done. Yeah. And it's like, have fun telling it to a corpse that I just smothered. And he walks away. And then, they beat him up or something. Bryce Howard, pulls him to the bars and, bangs his head. Mm-hmm. And then, Maisie goes, Maisie's still locked in her room. She, like Rob said, she knocks the key out of the lock. And it's worth noting that this is why I wish I recorded my audience, because the people behind me, there was, a bunch of loudmouth women. They're like, smart kid. And I'm like, she has a coat hanger, and she knocks a key out of a lock. That's not smart. If she was smart, all she had to do was basically just bang against the door 3 times. It would break the frame. Yeah. Yes. And so
she probably has clone powers that she could unleash. I'm surprised that didn't happen in the movie.
They probably gave her a little. I'm making a prediction right now. In Jurassic Park or Jurassic World 3, it's gonna be a plot point that Maisie has dinosaur DNA.
Oh yeah.
She's part dinosaur. Without a doubt, she's part dinosaur.
Oh yeah. And she's gonna talk to a raptor or something and save people. It's gonna be terrible.
She'll ride Blue the Velociraptor.
Oh, okay. We're calling it here. That's gonna be that's the whole plot of the movie. There's nothing even more. They're like, done. We got it. We could just.
Somewhere Controvar was listening to this and scribbling furiously. This is brilliant. Brilliant. So that happens. Maisie sneaks out. She goes. She does the thing hugging. She sneaks out the window, hugs the side of the mansion, goes into Lockwood's thing, and she's like, "Grandfather." Yep. And clearly he's dead. You see him not moving, and you can see the heart rate monitor in the background.
Oh my God!
Is just flatlining.
This fucked me up so much because here's the thing. I immediately, like you said, saw the heart monitor that was flatlined. Everything was flatlined. It even said 0, I think.
Everything is flat. Not just the heart. Literally everything.
Oh yeah, everything it's monitoring is flat, and the numbers are all 0. This thing, but you don't hear any noise from it.
Yeah, this is another great moment. Is that because as Rob said, you can't help but notice it is clear. On the left side of the frame is her head. And it's not a close-up, but it's pretty close to that. And on the right, it's literally the heart rate monitor just slightly out of focus.
Yes, and no noise. And no noise.
And the whole time I'm thinking, why isn't it making any noise? Where's the comical boop? And this is the best part, because it's worth noting that every scene we see Lockwood in, he has the finger monitor on, which reads all your vitals. Mm-hmm. And he still has it on, and there's no sound. She goes, after saying like grandfather like 4 times, she goes over and like slightly like jostles him, and then you hear very loudly, boop!
Yes.
I honestly think the sound editor forgot to fix the audio clip.
Grandpa, wake up. Grandpa. Grandpa, wake up. Wake up.
This fucked me up, Zach. I was in the theater like, am I having like a stroke? Like, did I lose my hearing? Because it makes no sense. It's like the machine turns on when she realizes he's dead. That's baffling to me. That's absolutely baffling.
It really is. That was a laugh out loud moment.
I was blown away by that. That was so blatant. Oh man.
Yes. Okay, and then she's devastated. She goes like into the dumbwaiter because doesn't Guy McFace walk in?
Yeah, she hears someone coming or something like that.
Yeah, it's Guy McFace because she goes into the dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
And like she starts like lowering it while he's still in the room, and he hears it.
Yeah, and he looks at her like from above.
Yeah, and then because what happened?
Stupid. This is stupid, right? Because the fucking dumbwaiter works by you moving the rope. He could have just grabbed the rope, and he's stronger than the Maisie. He's stronger than 8-year-old. He could have pulled her back up.
Well, he's stronger than an 8-year-old, but not a dinosaur human 8-year-old.
That's true. They need that reveal in the third movie. So that this scene will make sense. Because do you think Mills knew that? Because that would only make sense if Mills knew it. Like, he wouldn't try to raise her up if he knew it would unleash her dinosaur powers.
I would imagine the plot point of the third one's going to be is that they want the human dinosaur hybrid, and they're going to come after her. I would imagine that's going to be the plot of the third one. Okay.
I could see that, for sure.
And so anyway, before all this happens, though, like after she finds out Lockwood is dead, and before Guy McFace looks for her in the dumbwaiter, he looks in, he knows that he's dead, comes out and goes, whatever the name of the nanny is, "Nanny, come quick!" in the most like, flat delivery possible. And she comes in, "Oh!" and it's like, and he's like, "Your services won't
This is the stables?"
Essentially. It's like, "This is a smothered corpse?" and so he's like, "Your services won't be needed any longer." And she's like, "What about the child? I raised the previous one." And it's like, "Your services are extinct." He looks directly into the camera. I'm pretty sure Rob can attest to this. And she's like, "Ah!" And
it's so bad.
The dumbwaiter, yeah.
It is so fucking bad.
Yeah, it really is. And the next thing is Chris Pratt is in the dinosaur jail with the other dinosaurs.
Yep.
And he's like, he hears like a bang, like they're talking. It's like Bryce Howard, like, "It's my fault." And he's like, "No, it's not." And he like hears a bang noise. He looks over, like there's like, apparently, despite the fact that there's dinosaurs, there's like holes so you can see into the other cells.
Yeah, they make it so air can flow between cells. Like,
I guess the giant doors don't do enough of that. So you need like little like a 2-by-foot hole in the very top of the cells.
Yeah.
And so he looks and he sees it's one of the dinosaurs that has like the like plates on its head so it can like ram into things.
Yeah, is that one in your pamphlet?
Yes, it is the Stigmalock.
Oh.
Okay.
There's no Oris at the end of it?
No. Stigmalock? Whatever. If there's any paleontologists listening to this, please comment below. Rob, go talk to your friend who's the paleontologist.
Yeah, I'll be like, why the fuck doesn't this dinosaur's name end with Oris? Like, come on. Like,
somebody screwed up. Somebody screwed up. And so this dinosaur is like banging like the gate, and Chris Pratt, like in a rather comical scene, very Indiana Jones-esque, like constantly keeps whistling for it to break through the wall between the cells.
Yep.
And he eventually does enough that it breaks through the wall, and then he does it standing right in front of the lock to the cage door, and the thing breaks through the lock, and fine.
So this scene, this is one of the scenes I think this movie handled it differently, because in a lot of the other movies, I would say all the movies. We don't really have instances of where kind of dinosaurs are utilized as animals. So in Jurassic World, we have the whole point of, Chris Pratt's trying to train the raptors, and it's like we want to use the raptors for a certain purpose. Sure, I get it. Great. That I'm okay with. Even in the other movies, it's just kind of like we're running from the dinosaurs. This is the first time, I think, in any of the Jurassic Park movies where they're like, we're going to use what this animal does to our advantage. Does that make sense? Like, this animal just rams shit, and they're like, we don't need to train it. We don't need to, like, have a deep love connection with it. We're just going to use it, And I think that's the first time I've seen this, and I really liked that little bit of a change, because it's somewhat of something a little more clever than just constantly running.
Yeah, it's not using these creatures like a villain of the week. It's not like we have to escape it before. Yes. It's not like a Scooby-Doo villain. Mm-hmm. And no, I think it's very Indiana Jones-esque. Like it's one of the things that's always been rumored in Hollywood, that when they find, like when Harrison Ford finally dies or crashes his plane one too many times and can't walk away from it, Chris Pratt's going to be the replacement for Indiana Jones.
No, not Shia LaBeouf.
We can only hope Shia LaBeouf is still. Chances are Harrison Ford will outlive Shia LaBeouf. But I think, like, and that's, again, it's very Indiana Jones-esque. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so you have that, and the dinosaur, like, runs away. Chris Pratt, like, winks at it. The dinosaur winks back at him and it, like, runs off in the other direction.
Yeah. Doesn't it, like, sneeze or something from the dust when it breaks through the wall? It, like, shakes its head and makes, like, a sneezing noise?
It might.
Because it's just like, fuck, yeah, okay. We need that, right? We need dinosaur to sneeze.
This movie's insane. Not horrible. It's not horrible, but it's wonky. And so, okay, next scene. This is when we start hitting the stride of the greatest moment in this film.
Okay.
We see a bunch of just I'm pretty sure they have name tags on that say "evil person." Of people just showing up like in black limousines, black town cars.
Yeah.
And they're all here for, like, the dinosaur auction.
Yeah, they all have very clear, maybe not all, but the main ones, I think, the ones that get a little more camera time, they all have very clear, like, ethnicity and nationality stereotypes.
Oh, definitely.
Like, it's clearly the fucking Russian dude. Like, the first time we see is clearly the Russian dude.
Now, modifications are still being made. 20 millions!
Like, it's unbelievable how thick his Russian accent is. And then we get, like, the Middle Eastern Shah or whatever, he's got the whole outfit on and stuff. And I'm like, fucking really? Like,
you know what that whole scene reminded me of?
What?
Besides the dinosaur campiness, it reminded me of the scene from, remember Taken with Liam Neeson, where, like, all the women are being, like, paraded out.
Yeah.
And you have, like, all the guys. Like that. It came across as, like, a very sleazy scene. Like again, much like Ted Levine, like, rubbing the dinosaur teeth, like, all over, like, his junk. It's like, it felt just like that. It's like, this is, like, sleazy almost. Like it's not just simply, like, again, you shouldn't be watching a dinosaur movie and think sex trafficking movie. Yes. Like, that shouldn't be the first thing that comes to your mind. It's just, again, this movie's so weird. Like, again, this is like, again, Jurassic World's like a dumpster fire of, like, everything that's wrong with Hollywood. This is like a Frankenstein's monster of just everything that, like, goes into blockbuster filmmaking.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Definitely. It's a hodgepodge. It's all over the place.
It's just everything. It's like I think I said before, it's like the cheeseburger, or the chocolate pretzels dilemma. It's just like you put all these things that just, like, immediately short-term complement each other. Yeah. But, like, as a whole, it's just a mess. Just because you like the individual ingredients doesn't mean they work together. So, okay, so we have the dinosaur auction scene, which is maybe probably going to be if the Razzies had a award category for greatest scene of the year, it's probably this one.
Oh my God!
Toby Jones is the auction master or the auctioneer, and you have all these, like, horrible, like, stereotype villain characters, and, like Rob already described, we have a giant conveyor belt that was designed for, like, 40-ton dinosaurs. Yeah. It wheels them out into comically large cages, and everybody bids on them. And Toby Jones is the auctioneer. Guy McFace is, like, working the phones, and B.D. Wong's just sitting there like smiling and nodding his head.
Yeah. So the thing that gets me the most of this scene is Guy McFace on the computer, because I had the same thought you did. I thought he was on the phones, but we actually do get a scene where there's a bid from someone in the audience on a phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I don't think that he would be doing... Maybe he's doing, like, there's other people who are doing it, like, on a webcast, like they're watching from somewhere and he's taking the online bids. But honestly, the way that they play it, the way the movie makes it seem, because what do we see Guy McFace doing? He's literally just standing in front of the computer, and the whole computer screen has just a comically large number amount, the dollar amount of money that they're making, and it's like going up like the national debt toll or and shit like that. And it's just so I'm like, is he just literally sitting there and calculating this? It doesn't seem like he's crunching numbers. It seems like he has a program that's actually just adding numbers together, and he's watching it and smiling. It's so comical. It's so cheesy.
It really is. It's so like mustache twirling, villain.
Yes.
And the best part of this too is that in the corner, you have a like 50-inch flat screen TV with the current bid total.
Yep.
Despite the fact that Toby Jones is like doing like, remember he's a horrible auctioneer because he's talking, so he's like, do I have 25? And it's like, what?
I have $4 million. Anyone with $5 million. $5 million. Do I hear $6? $6 million. Thank you. Any increase on 6? $7 million. $8 million. $9 million on the phones. Do I hear $10 million? $10 million? $10 million. $10 million. Once, twice. Sold to the gentleman from Indonesia. Congratulations, sir.
And it's worth noting too is that like while the dinosaur is out, one half of the crowd is completely obstructed by the dinosaur.
Yes.
So, like half of the room he can't even see.
Yes.
So weird. Like whoever designed that set is just like, I want to know who the set designer was for that scene because they have to be blind or at the very least like visually impaired.
Yeah.
And so you have that. He's doing bids, and like the first dinosaur goes. It's like the. Hold on a second. I'm going through the book again. I think
Yeah.
The first dinosaur.
It
is Ankylosaurus.
See, that one has Saurus in the end. That's a real fucking dinosaur.
Yes. The Ankylosaurus, and it's like, oh, this one can be used for like it's like a living tank. And they're like going through the entire thing, like the bidding. They're like, he's like, do I have $2 million? Do I have $3 million? I think that dinosaur goes for like $10 million. And I'm like, I don't know about you, but $10 million for a living dinosaur? That seems like a steal.
That seems like a great fucking deal.
Think about it. You can't. There's like certain like mansions you can't. Again, there's mansions you can't buy for $10 million.
Yeah.
A dinosaur, a living dinosaur, costs less than a house.
Yeah. Thank God, man. I mean, that's just fucking. We could just cash in some Bitcoin, buy a dinosaur. Apparently, that's how easy it is.
I think about that. Like this movie cost $170 million to make. You could buy 17 dinosaurs for that.
That's the one-line review for this movie. I'd rather have 17 dinosaurs than this movie.
It's absurd. It really is.
That's great.
So we go back to Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's messing things up. I think at one point, like he's like, it reminded me of that. Okay, for people to visualize, there's a scene from like the first Terminator where like Arnold Schwarzenegger's like in the police station and he's like ripping out just like wires like in like the electrical circuits. He's like ripping things out. And at one point we cut to Chris Pratt. He's not said he has a plan or he knows what he's doing. We see him open up again like a circuit breaker box. He starts like he's like ripping wires out. And we cut to the same dinosaur with the hard head, and he like opens a door for it. And it goes into like the auction. And the dinosaur just starts like effing things up. Essentially, it just starts like ramming people. It like headbutts people in the dick. It's like it's just messing things up.
I'm surprised they didn't just do it where the dinosaur puts his head down, runs into the guy's dick, and we get a comical shot of him like holding his groin and going, "Oh!" Like I'm surprised that didn't happen.
But actually, between between this and the auction scene, we have another part of the auction scene we didn't mention.
Okay.
The auction's halfway through. Halfway through. And in the greatest character in cinematic history is wheeled out. The greatest. This is
the indoor raptor?
Rob kind of did it unceremoniously, but they wheel out the dinosaur that we saw attack Maisie earlier behind the gate. They wheel out the greatest character ever, the indoor raptor. What is called that because it is indoors. That is said in the marketing. Is called the indoor raptor because it's indoors. I want everybody to know that later in the film, when it goes outdoors, it becomes the outdoor raptor. But that's a story for another day.
And most of the characters stop what they're doing and start screaming at it to get back indoors. And I think it does like this. It does like the weird Night at the Museum thing, where it's like if it doesn't get back indoors before the sun comes up, it's going to turn to ash or something like that. The movie takes just 5 minutes of explaining this mythology. It's just really fucking weird. It's more enjoyable than the Maisie stuff, I would have to say.
You brought it up. Literally every single time a character sees this dinosaur, they scream at it. Like that's legit, like a reoccurring. Like it's not a gag. It's just a reoccurring thing that happens. Like literally every character that looks at it screams at it and then runs away, which is probably the worst thing you can. Like there's not even a scene where Chris Pratt just says don't. I know like in the first movie, like don't make like sudden movements, don't move. Yeah. Like, don't yell. I remember even the scene in the first one where, like, the girl's about to scream and Samuel just covers her mouth. And it's like nothing like that. Literally, every single time a character sees this dinosaur, they scream at it and run away. So, you have that. And going back to the auction scene, though.
Are you going to bring up the BD Wong and the prototype stuff? Okay.
Yes. And so, like, they wheel it out. And Toby Jones is like, I want you all to get a preview of what we have coming. At that point, I don't even think Toby Jones was aware this was even existed. Because he's not even really, is he told about it earlier in the film?
No, I don't think so. Because he's all pissed off about the shipment being late. So, like, I would imagine if he's like, the shipment's late, what the fuck? Guy McFace would have been like, well, we have the big dinosaur that we're going to show off as the prototype or whatever. Like, why wouldn't that have come up then? So, I think Toby Jones had no clue.
He has no clue what this thing is.
When he started the auction and he got his, what's on the docket for the auction, he was like, oh, we have a prototype as a
But it wouldn't have been on the dock because it's not for sale.
Yeah, but maybe I'm thinking, like, it would have been on something that of his, maybe not everybody has, but he has, that would, like, tell him that's what he has to talk about.
But we never see that scene. Like again, think about it. It's never established that. Because think about it, Toby Jones is just brought in as an auctioneer.
Yes.
He's not brought in as like some sort of like oh my god, like what would you say? Like I don't want to say like a recruiter for like oh my lord, like what would be the term for it? Someone that brought in like to.
Yeah, he's not one of the salesmen. He's not one of the people who's trying to you spark that interest, get the recurring customers. Yeah, that should be Guy McFace. That should be what he's doing.
Yeah, and so they bring out Indoor Raptor, and Toby Jones is explaining it, despite the fact that it's never alluded to that he would be aware of what this thing can do.
Yeah, yes.
Like, it would make sense if BD Wong was brought out, and BD Wong gave this part of the presentation, and people started bidding on it, and he's, like, overwhelmed by it, and Guy McFace kind of just, like, pushes him out of the way and does that. Like, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah. They give like a demonstration. They show like there's like this weird sort of like special machine gun that if you point a red laser at someone and then push a comically large red button that makes a sound, despite the fact that the sound's coming from the gun, somehow the creature knows it has to attack the target, despite the fact the sound's not coming from the target. And while this is going on, BD Wong gets upset, goes up to Guy McFace, while Toby Jones is starting to sell it. Despite the fact that it's a prototype, people start bidding on it. And he runs up to him, BD Wong, and it's like, what are you doing? This is a prototype. I need more time. And Guy McFace is like, well, that's why it's a prototype. Prototypes are a sampler for our people, for our consumers. And it's like, oh my god. And so they sell it to like the evil Russian man who came in who had the name tag that said evil Russian man.
Yep.
For like $25 million. And then at that point when Chris Pratt shows up, the headbutting dinosaur goes around. The dinosaur headbutts people in the junk.
Do you think the Russian man has a credit in this movie? Do you think he's there's Do you think because I watched the credits, but I didn't watch the credits. Like I didn't absorb them.
Yeah, he's not like, listed as credited as like generic Russian evil man.
I would want to know because I'm thinking they would be like Nikolai. They would just call him a random Russian name. I think that's what I would imagine they would do.
I would if I had to guess, I would imagine that is that would have to be the character's name.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I would say that's definitely the
Okay.
It would have to be.
Yep. All right.
It has to be Nikolai or what's another Dmitri,
Alexei.
Ivan. Definitely that. Ivan.
Vladimir.
Russian man number 43. No, that's a little too spot on. Oh, speaking of that, did you catch the very subtle political reference in this?
I don't think so. Where was it? Did we pass it already, or is it in the?
Yeah. There's during the scene where Ted Levine is in the oh my god, like in the truck with Blue and like the dinosaur nurse is taking care of him.
Okay.
And she says he makes some comment to her, and she's like, "Bite me," and he turns around and is like, "What a!" He looks directly into the camera and is like, "What a nasty woman."
What a nasty woman.
And that's clearly a Trump-Hillary thing from like the second debate where like Hillary said something to Trump and Trump's like, well, and that was like a big thing on Twitter and Facebook where like all these women were like, hashtag nasty woman. I heard that and I'm like, oh geez, they had to, like, I know like maybe like 0.01% of the audience is going to get that. But
I remember the Trump thing, but I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
Like again, like I imagine most people won't get that, but like I heard that and I'm like, that's what, and he looks like almost directly into the camera and it's so explicitly stated.
Yeah. The only thing that was missing was a musical cue where it was like doo 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 doo.
All right, I'm looking up the IMDb. The highest ranking thing I can see. The actor's name is Alex Dower, and the name of at least on IMDb, the name of the character is Russian Mob Guy.
Oh man, they didn't even want to give him a name.
They didn't even. His name is literally Russian Mob Guy, which is not to be outdone by the actor Kishore Bhatt, whose credit is playing evil businessman, or Ross Carter, who's credited as evil businessman.
That he was my favorite evil businessman, if I do say so. He really stood out. He really stood out from the other evil businessmen.
The worth noting that if you go through the credits, there's even more and more evil businessmen in the credits. So we'll get to that in a later show. We'll go through
the evil businessmen series.
Yes, and the Russian mob guy.
Yes, nice. I love it. Okay, so where are we? We're at the part of the plot where all shit has broken loose because their plan to ruin the auction is to just kill people.
Yes, we're gonna let a dinosaur that can head people in the junk let him loose.
Yeah.
So you have that all the gangsters and evil businessmen run out of the estate, and Guy McFace is like, I don't know where he goes. He goes somewhere doing something, and next thing we know, the indoor raptors.
This is when Guy McFace starts to go. This isn't when he gets it, but he starts to run for the Indominus Rex tooth, right? That becomes his whole thing now.
Yeah, but that's like later on. Because at this point, we're kind of going back and forth between Chris Pratt and because at this point, Chris Pratt's met Maisie with Bryce Howard.
Okay,
and like they treat her almost like an animal. They're like, "Come here, honey, we have food." Yeah. Like imagine like Return of the Jedi when Leia wants a Wicket the Ewok to come over to her. It's like, "Come here, honey, I have food."
Yep.
It's kind of like that. And like immediately, like she goes, like she's hiding in the dumbwaiter, and from when Guy McFace found her, and she goes and hugs Chris Pratt, and that happens. But then we go back to the auction room, which is completely empty except for the indoor raptor, and out of nowhere, literally, we have not seen Ted Levine for like 25 minutes. He stumbles into the auction house, looks at the dinosaur while like rubbing his belly button again, and it's like, like very Deliverance-esque. What we got here? And like he sits there, goes over to it, like shoots it like 4 times with the tranquilizer gun, opens the door to the cage. Again, nothing's established at this point. You literally watch this. The people in the theater with me were literally cursing at the screen. I'm not making that up.
Well, that's
and he opens the door, goes over to it while still like stroking his belly button and his ding dong, and he goes over to its mouth, takes his pliers out, and in the greatest scene of all these movies, probably of the year, potentially the decade, he takes his pliers around its tooth. The camera then pans from its mouth to a comically low angle as he's trying to rip the teeth out. The thing smiles while it thinks it's passed out. I know Rob and I have been embellished on certain details of this scene, like people being like head-butted in the dick, and Ted Levine like rubbing the dinosaur teeth on his penis. But like we're not making this up. As he's trying to rip the teeth out, the camera pans away from his teeth as the thing opens. One eye grins. It literally grins at the audience. Like, this is not exaggeration.
This
literally
terrible.
happened.
It is so terrible.
No, it's fabulous.
Oh God.
This is like Sam Raimi watched this, threw his shoe at the screen, and said, "Damn it, I wish I'd thought of this." That's how campy this is. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 12 on the campiness scale. And the best part of this scene is that it doesn't just happen once. It cuts once again to him trying to rip the teeth out of its mouth. Failing to do so, it cuts again to the Indominus Rex, and it smiles as it opens its one eye. At this point, I stood up and I applauded. I said, "Movie, you are okay." We've never talked about this. I don't think in any sort of detail. One of Rob and I's greatest movie-going experiences was the Friday the 13th remake, where the douchey guy drops his gun at the end of the movie in the puddle and says the iconic phrase, "Where are you, gun?"
As his hand is in the puddle, frantically feeling around for, "Where are you, gun?"
That was like that again. That's how Rob and I's like friendship was solidified. Like when we died laughing at that moment. And this was one of those moments. This is brilliant cinema. Like, I would imagine when they were directing this scene, nobody knew the moment they had on their hands. Like, this is the definition of greater than the sum of its parts. Because, this moment, I despise Jurassic World. Jurassic Park has no redeemable elements to it. This movie is equally bad. No, not equally. No, that's not equally bad. It's a bad movie, but it's moments like this that elevate it. Like, I will go back to this movie and look forward to this scene or completely forget about it and just start pissing myself when I see it. Like, go ahead.
I agree. I noticed the smile, but I didn't like the smile as much. If you have more about the smile, let's do it. But this is also the scene where we get to understand why Captain Leland Stottlemyre is collecting teeth, right?
I think so, because like at this point, as he's like he opens the gate, everybody's cursing at the He opens the gate, everybody's cursing at the screen, saying like the woman behind me is like, "You deserve to die, mofo." and he takes his pliers out, his little bandana filled with teeth. And at this point, I still think he's a pervert, and he's like, "This is gonna look great as a necklace someday."
Yeah, he says something like, "This will make a great addition to my necklace," and I'm like,
"This will make a perfect centerpiece for my necklace."
Fuck! I was like, really? They're doing that now?
But that's not, it's very, again, contrived, archaic. But, if you're going to do that, why not insert, because it's worth noting that when he says that line of dialogue, we don't see his mouth saying it. So it could have been added, in the beginning of the film when he's ripping it out of another dinosaur's mouth. Mm-hmm. Include it there. It makes more sense. Because then at least it gives him a reason to be in that room when all hell breaks loose.
Yep.
It just comes out of nowhere. Nobody cares. Again, I don't know how anybody. Again, multi-million dollar film produced by a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Nobody catches it.
Yep. Nobody said no.
So as this scene happens, clearly the indoor raptor, and it's worth noting too that I think the word indoor raptor is said literally once in the entire film, And much like, I think it's an ADR line. I think it was said in post because it's only said once by Toby Jones. I don't think it's said by B.D. Wong. It might be. I'm not entirely certain. I'll have to maybe go check.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And it might be said toward maybe at the end of the film, but again, I don't think so. And it's said off camera where nobody, you don't see the person actually saying it. I think that line was, I think the dinosaur had no name, and I think, and I know this happens a lot, the toy people get like a story breakdown. Like probably 2.5 years ago when the script was probably still being written, Hasbro gets probably like a breakdown like, oh, there's going to be a dinosaur that does this, that, whatever. And they probably just gave it a code name of, it probably in the script it said this dinosaur is the villain in the latter half of the film that takes place primarily indoors. So Hasbro probably figured, it's part Velociraptor and it takes place, it stays indoors. Let's just call it the Indoor Raptor. And I think they just went with it. It's kind of like when the Star Wars toys first were created. Like you had like all these weird characters. So like you had like Hammerhead Man. You had like Buttface. It was just a Prune Head. It's like you took all these characters that were just described by the toy people by their physical attributes, and then their names were just adapted by the filmmakers. And that sounds like
there's
something.
Squidhead from Jabba's Palace. I remember that one. Yeah,
Yakface.
Can you guess what these characters look like, folks?
Exactly. And I would imagine, once again, like Colin Trevorrow loves the crap and the slop that he feeds to us. Yep. I would imagine that'd be when, like, the toy people gave it the code name Indoor Raptor. He probably peed himself laughing at it for 5 minutes. And let's call it that. Like, I am a cynical SOB. If I'm in charge of a multi-million-dollar film, I would not... there's a line. You draw a line at your cynicism when it involves millions of dollars. Clearly, Colin Trevorrow does not have a line. So, like I said, I'm convinced that this was a thing created by the toy people. I'm convinced that's where it came from. It's not something that any real human being would name it.
Sure. Yeah, I would not be surprised.
So you have that Indoor Raptor is pretending to be tranquilized. It eats Ted Levine.
Yep. And all his teeth, we're led to believe. Teeth get eaten with him.
Yes.
Yep. So the Indoor Raptor has an extra dose of calcium. So he's extra strong for the fight we got coming up.
Exactly. At that point, we haven't really seen Chris Pratt for a while, and Bryce Howard, and Dino Girl.
Yeah, is Dino Girl what we get next? Because we have the whole scene where Dino Girl releases Blue, right?
No, that's a nurse. That's Dinosaur Nurse.
Oh, that's not Dino. Is Dino Girl Maisie?
Yeah.
Okay, I confused Dino Girl and Dino Nurse.
I gave
my
Maisie
bad.
a new name without clarifying. Much like Colin Trevorrow, I'm just throwing things at you without any sort of context or...
okay, no, now I know. Maisie's Dino Girl, of course. Yes. Okay, yeah, Dino Nurse, is that...
Dino Nurse. Well, next thing we know, all hell's broken loose.
Yeah.
And B.D. Wong is in the control room again.
Yes.
And he's just, and he's just running around telling people, get all the specimens, get all the samples, lock them up, we need to get them out of here. And then randomly, sissy computer guy is in the lab in scrubs, and he's like, and B.D. Wong's like, get the dinosaur phlebotomist kit. And he's like, where is that? It's right over there. And it's like, and Dino Nurse is chained to Blue the Velociraptor's cage.
Yeah, yeah.
And so B.D. Wong goes over to her and it's like, take the blood from this thing. And she's like, take the blood from this thing.
Yep, we remember from before. Blue has Tyranno Rex blood in it now.
It has and this is another great line of dialogue in the film. I know where Rob's going with this, and I like it too. And so the sissy computer guy brings the phlebotomist kit over, and he's like, take the blood from this thing. And she's like, you're out of luck, guy. I gave this thing T-Rex blood. Yep. And he just gives her the blankest stare. And she's like, this is practically a dino sock drawer right here. And I don't think she says dino sock drawer. She goes, you're pretty much taking blood from a sock drawer right now.
Yeah.
And that is once again.
Yeah, but I did an intravenous blood transfusion with a T-Rex, so it's a sock drawer in there.
You what?
This movie only has a few bright spots, but that is a clever-ass bit of dialogue.
I liked that. I really like their whole little back and forth when she reveals this to B.D. Wong, because B.D. Wong's reaction when he does say something is like, it's not pure, or something like that. And I'm like, holy fuck, BD Wong? Like, calm down.
His blood's contaminated.
I designed this animal myself. It's pure. Every cell of her body was created in the most controlled environment under the most demanding of conditions.
And he's just, you're right. He's just completely blown away by this.
Yeah. It's like she's like, it would have been dead. What the fuck do you want? Like you get not pure blood or no blood. Like, fuck you.
It's really, and then the next thing we know, BD Wong like has two guards, and he's like, shoot them, and the girl, like, I forget what happens, like she knocks, I forget what she does, like she knocks him out to the point where like she literally just knocks him out cold.
Yeah.
And one of the guards like starts to like carry him away. The other one's about to shoot them until she unlocks the cage, and they hide behind the cage as Blue comes out, and Blue, like, obviously kills the two guards. And it's worth noting, I'm not sure if Rob picked up on this. This is where I said it's like a Jurassic Park's greatest hits. Think about Jurassic World 1, where Vincent D'Onofrio tells everyone to pack up their stuff with BD Wong and get out of there. The exact same thing happens in this.
Okay.
Think about it. It's like you could literally take the exact same scene from Jurassic World and just splice it into this, and you would not know that anything changed. All the samples are gathered up. All the eggs are taken out of incubation. All the samples or the specimens are put into briefcases, and BD Wong once again is escorted, this time unconscious, out of the facility into the great unknown again. Like, it's the exact, like, literally, the exact same thing happens.
Yep. And it's going to happen in the third one, probably.
It's going to happen. It's going to keep happening until BD Wong gets his way.
Yeah. One day, maybe he'll succeed.
One day. And so,
and now Blue's loose. Yeah, so now Blue's loose. And so now we're setting up, we all saw it coming, but I guess I'll say it now because we finally have, like, the true makings of it. In our first episode on dinosaurs, we totally said, there's gonna be another dinosaur fight at the end of this fucking movie. And at this point of the movie, I was like, well, it's just clear which two dinosaurs are gonna fight now, because we have two major scenes of releasing them. But now we have everything kind of starting to tie together. And this was the point of the movie where I think I was like, okay, finally, it's gonna be over. Like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Nope, there's still like 25 more minutes to go.
Yep.
And so
we had to get the Maisie reveal, right?
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. So you have I don't think we mentioned this earlier though, but like Lockwood has like a book that he won't let Maisie see, and we see him like look at it at one point, and it shows the nanny like 40 years younger, with a girl that looks just like Maisie, and then we see Maisie take the book, and obviously we hear that like Maisie's a clone. Oh no, is that Guy McFace that says that?
Yeah, Guy McFace is he's the reveal. So Chris, when they're like running from the dinosaurs or something,
that's at the very end. That's at the very end, though.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's pretty close to. That's like right before the fight scene, I think.
Okay. No, that's at the very end, though, because that's after they've killed the Indoor Raptor. Because he gets eaten by the T-Rex at the end.
Yes. Okay.
That's at the very end of the movie. It's again, it's this weird reveal that just kind of like goes. I don't know. I could be mistaken. Who knows? This movie's kind of like a blur. I have no idea what happened. Much like how the writers have no idea. Me as the audience has no clue either. So anyway, though, Chris Pratt's trying to kill the Indoor Raptor. It's very similar to the scene from the first Jurassic Park where they're like wandering around the kitchen trying to evade the Velociraptor.
Yep.
They keep trying to do things like they reset the electrical system so it'll all be dark. The thing finds them pretty easily. And while this is going on, something happened. Maybe Rob can explain. But Rob, being an academic researcher, in like the dinosaur like prison, like something happens in like aerosol arsenic starts getting let loose into like the dinosaur prison camp.
Yeah. When I was looking up for my notes, when I was on the Wikipedia page and stuff like that, I remember I'm gonna actually check it out. The Wikipedia page like had a name for it. I don't think they said what it was in the movie.
Oh, do they?
But yeah,
they do say what it is in the movie. I know there's a line that says what it is.
Okay, then that's where Wikipedia's getting it from. I don't remember that line in the movie. I might have just missed it.
Hydrogen cyanide. Hydrogen cyanide.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Is that your question? Is that the best way to kill dinosaurs?
No, my question is, why in a dinosaur lab / prison would you have a open pipe that is very easily broken to expose hydrogen cyanide into the facility?
I guess this is a question I had then as well, because I like entirely took this as it was their fail-safe. Like, if shit went wrong, they would gas the dinosaurs. That's how I interpreted it. And when B.D. Wong, well, you know, of course, nothing. This is going to make sense. But when they were like, pack our shit up and get out of here, they hit this trigger or something. That was how I rationalized it, at least. But did they say it was like a leak or something?
Yes, because there's at least one. Probably, I think there's even 2 shots, and it was damaged at some point either by the indoor raptor or the dinosaur who butts his head. At some point, something happens, and we see it damaged. And later on, we see it's a pipe that runs vertically, and we can see the gas spewing out of it.
Yeah. Okay. That's just poor design.
That's what I mean, though. It's like if it was like what you said, and like, oh, this is like a fail-safe if all hell breaks loose. Like, oh, that would make sense. Like BD Wong did this as he was like running out. Like that would make sense. But no. So like, getting back to what was happening, Chris Pratt resets the lights there, somehow connected by the internet, despite the fact that there's archaic keyholes and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then
that fucking dinosaur conveyor belt, that must have cost $1 billion.
That's why they had to sell the dinosaurs at the price they were at, because they had to recover all their costs from the dinosaur conveyor belt. And it's worth noting that Chris Pratt breaks the conveyor belt at one point.
Yeah, all that great conveyor belt down the drain.
It's worth noting that at one point in this film about dinosaurs, we get like a 5-minute like fight sequence between Chris Pratt and a guy who has like tattoos on like his skull, like on his like bare scalp.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. I was like,
it's like, why is Chris Pratt fighting this? Then it's worth noting, even again, not to rewind a little bit though, but during the scene where the dinosaurs like headbutting people in the privates, like Chris Pratt's just going around randomly punching people in the face. Like, if you watch that scene, he's just randomly punching people.
He's just like, these people are bad. These people are bad, and he has no fucking clue any of them are, what anything's happening. Oh, it's great. It's great.
But anyway, though, so the computer sissy guy and the dino nurse are like trying to reset the thing to stop the leak, despite the fact that it's punctured. All they had to do is maybe get like a roll of duct tape, and they would be fine.
Yeah.
Or maybe some like Flex Seal or Flex Tape from like the guy on the commercials. But they reset the entire thing, turning the lights on. The indoor raptor punctures Bryce Howard in the leg. And while this is all going on, Dino Girl screams the indoor raptor, runs up like, oh God. Did she run up the stairs? Like, she runs up like 40 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where is she hiding? And arguably in a movie chocked full of dumb, stupid-ass moments, she runs to her room, locks the door, and hides under the covers.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah, you're safe. You're safe. If anything, you should be under the bed. Like, I would think that it would be tough for the raptor to bend down that far and get under there.
I would imagine that the dinosaur has figured out what room you're in. I don't know how the dinosaur knows what room you're in, but in the off chance that it guesses correctly, I would imagine that no matter like being under the bed, like will give you, like Rob said, maybe like even like maybe a split second more protection.
Yeah.
Like if this thing finds you, like you're pretty much done. But the whole idea that you go directly for under the covers.
Was this the indoor raptor coming after?
Yes. This is the indoor raptor still.
Well, that answers all our questions. It's the indoor raptor. It's created with an endless knowledge of all things indoors. So that's how it knows what room Maisie was in.
So what you're telling me is that when B.D. Wong developed it, he genetically implanted the schematics of the mansion into the dinosaur's brain, so we know every conceivable hiding spot.
I'm thinking it's like more than that. He didn't He didn't just get the blueprints or the schematics for that mansion, but he bred the dinosaur with just the innate ability to like map out indoors. So whenever he's indoors, he understands all about the indoors. That's what I think.
Oh my god!
So this, like, I don't know, it's like a maybe a sonar type of thing, like
okay.
Like when the Batman, what is it, the second of the Christopher Nolan, just the Dark Knight, when he like does the sonar shit. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This dinosaur can like map out rooms and stuff like that because he's indoors. He's like the indoor raptor. He's got the power of indoors.
Oh my god! Again, and that's what happens. As soon as he goes outside, he dies.
Yeah, he can't survive out in the outdoors.
No, he can't. He's not the outdoor raptor. He's the indoor raptor.
Yeah, the only way that he can like get from place to place is he has to go to like, he starts in a mansion and he's got to run to a shed. He's got to stay in there and recharge, and he's got to run to Chris Pratt's shanty and stay in there and recharge, and then make his way to other indoor things.
So it's like an elaborate like form of like the floor is lava. It's like he has to run from like point A to B to C.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm thinking I want the third Jurassic Park movie to be the indoor raptor or another version of the indoor raptor comes back and is let loose in Minneapolis, St. Paul, because a lot of the buildings are connected by walkways, so everything's indoors.
Oh my god!
What are they gonna do?
There's a volcano. There's a volcano under that city.
Yeah, there's a volcano in Michigan.
Minnesota.
Oh my god! So you have that. You go outside. Chris Pratt, because Bryce Howard is injured, and he's like, I have to. And she's like, go save Maisie. And so he goes like running after her. He has like the gun. He finds like a gun on the floor somewhere. Yeah. He goes up to the bedroom. It's worth noting the dinosaur doesn't just simply like headbutt the door open. The dinosaur goes outside. And the music is like, again, Rob's going to play the clip here. The music is like so like over dramatic, swelling, just dun 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 dun. And it's just like this insane music, and like the dinosaur goes outside, like howls in the moon like a wolf man, then like does like a Spider-Man, goes like upside down by the door, uses its claws to actually turn the door handle ever so gently, then like very gingerly pushes the door open, sneaks inside and then uses its claws to slowly approach the bed. Yeah, and I'm like, and Chris Pratt shows up. Just kicks the door down, which I don't know why the indoor raptor just didn't do that. Yep. Shoots it twice with the tranquilizer, which we know will do absolutely nothing.
It'll make it smile, if anything. Get it high. Get the indoor raptor high with your tranquilizers.
Oh my lord, this movie is bonkers. And so he does that. The gun runs out of ammunition, and they start to like, I don't know what happens. Like, I guess he distracts it just long enough that they can get outside. Because Macy's like, come outside with me.
Something like that.
And so they come outside, they scale like the ledge, again like she did before when she got locked in. They go outside, they go to like this glass, like the glass roof of the dinosaur museum, and they're like transversing it, like with like in keeping their balance with their arms out, like a tightrope walker.
Yep.
And they see it there, and the thing's having a hard time like walking the line. And it's constantly keeps like crashing or like punching its feet through the glass ceiling. And Chris Pratt like sits there, like almost falls over with the girl. He grabs her, and then like the next thing we know, Bryce Howard's up there somehow, despite the fact that
she's injured.
She's injured, and she's somehow acquired like the indoor raptor gun.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
Despite she has no understanding of how it works or how the procedure is, how it works with the dinosaur. She has a complete understanding of all this.
She's just going to hit that red button and hope for the best.
Yeah. She points the red thing, she points the red dot on Chris Pratt, pushes the sound button, which still doesn't make sense why that would trigger it, and then it goes crashing through the floor. It gets perforated on the tusk of a dinosaur, or the bones of a dinosaur. I forgot. the reason why it's able to, Chris Pratt and Maisie are able to escape in the bedroom is that Blue
there
shows
we
up.
go. Yep,
Starts,
this is our dinosaur fight.
Yeah, it starts messing things up and starts attacking it, biting it. Despite that we've seen this indoor raptor is like apparently like the greatest dinosaur ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. And Blue buys them time again. And then like, does Blue show up on top of the roof?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's continuing, like it's a continued reason why Chris Pratt and Maisie are able to like not just get eaten right away because Blue's distracting it, and but really it is Bryce Howard with the gun and getting it to crash through the glass pane. But I do remember, I think, doesn't Blue like jump on the indoor raptor after it's impaled?
I think it does. Yeah, like
it like jumps in and it's like it does like a little roar or whatever, and it's like gets like that. We got our dinosaur fight.
I didn't realize for the third Jurassic World they should just go full like Robert Downey Jr. and Tropic Thunder just go full retard and make Blue the main character.
Oh, they gotta do it. They got it. Should be like all about the relationship, the love triangle between Chris Pratt, Bryce Howard, and Blue from Blue's perspective. That's what I think. That would be great. And it's completely... There's no other dinosaur in the movie. Just Blue. And Blue has like an office job or something. And it's like total just straight up rom-com. That's going to be the third one. That's what I'm thinking.
Did you ever see...
We've just like 8 ideas for the third one now.
Did you ever see the movie This Means War with Reese Witherspoon, Tom Hardy, and Chris Pine? Where like they're both like secret agents, and they both like Reese Witherspoon. So they're both trying to like woo her.
I've heard of it, yeah, but I don't think I've seen it.
We should do that, but Chris Pratt is Reese Witherspoon, and Bryce Howard and Blue are the men trying to woo him.
That would be great. That would be great. I might pay $19 million to see that.
I think I definitely. You'll spend at least one dinosaur for that movie, right?
Yes. Oh yeah. I would give up expanding my dinosaur collection to go see that film.
So we have that Blue. Like I said, Blue like stomps the dinosaur, like helps even further push the dinosaur onto the thing it's being impaled on.
Yep.
And we go outside. Guy McFace has the Indominus Rex tooth, and it's like, be careful with this. And at that point, we forgot a part. We go inside the control room where the sissy computer guy and Dino Nurse, even though they reset the computers, they rebooted them, it still didn't fix the leak, despite the fact the leak has nothing to do with computers.
Yeah, it didn't fix the physical pipe. Yep.
No, it did not.
Oh, darn.
Oh, darn. Apparently fixing a pipe with a gaping hole in it can't be fixed by rebooting it.
Yeah, and they're like sitting there, Joe, and we're out of ideas.
Exactly. So they all go down to like the control room. They're like, we can't save these animals.
Yes.
And Bryce Howard starts like individually unlocking the the gates for each animal, and like all the animals are like in like the lobby, like the Dino prison lobby. They're like, they're all like, it's funny. They're all you have like carnivores, herbivores all together, and they're all fine. They're just like waiting in line together. It's kind of like a crowd elevator.
And that's like the biggest fucking bullshit, because if you want to. Not that this is any bigger bullshit than anything else in this movie, but there's no way anybody can look me in the eyes and say, okay, we got the big carnivore dinosaurs mixed in with the herbivore dinosaurs, but and they're all slowly dying from this gas that's being leaked in there. There's no way the fucking carnivores wouldn't start freaking out and murdering everything. Like
I'm pretty sure they'd all be freaking out and just like ramming each other.
Yeah, but I mean, we have no idea. The best evidence we have is how would an animal we deal with in our life, if you start to like poison them, how would they react? Well, they're not gonna sit still and just groan. Like when your lungs start burning, you're gonna start to freak out. And so yeah, that was all. It was just like, okay, the script needs time for our main characters to think. So let's just have all the dinosaurs wait in this little box. And it's like, fuck, fine, sure. They're going to be freed. They're not going to kill all the dinosaurs in the fucking animal rights movie.
Yeah. And so, like, Bryce Howard unlocks all the individual, like, cells. And, like, in the whole time, Chris Pratt's like, this is a bad idea.
I actually really liked that, where he's like, no, think about this. Come on.
I'm pretty sure he says the line think about this twice in the span of like maybe a minute and a half. He actually says he says, think about this. And like Bryce Howard's about to unlock like the emergency gate because like, it's like a comically large button. It has like a little plastic thing on it so you can't just bump into it.
Yep.
And she opens the plastic cover, like stares at it for like 30 seconds, puts it down, and she starts like crying into like Chris Pratt's like chest.
Yeah.
Then like 10 seconds go by and like the gate opens. Everyone's like, what? This is the stables?
Yeah, that actually was. It's the dinosaur stables. Look at that.
Dinosaur stables. And so we see in little Maisie, Dino Girl has pressed the button down, and she's like, they deserve to be free just like me.
There was some of the worst dialogue.
I had to. They're alive. Like me.
I'm pretty sure she looked directly into the camera at that point.
Doesn't she say, like, she looks right at the camera and she goes, they are alive.
Yeah, something like that.
Fuck. Like, fuck. Like, the only thing she needs to say is, like, they are like me.
She might have even said that. She might have said that, actually.
Maybe. Yeah, well, go play the clip.
We have to go back. And so we go back outside. Guy McFace has the Indominus Rex tooth. He's like, protect this at all costs, which doesn't make any sense to me. Because the dinosaur carcass is still in the park, you just get another one. Like there's a freaking skeleton down there. Yeah. Just get another one. Like if you lose this tooth, just go down there and get another one. Not the end of the world. So it's just so weird.
They kept fucking open of this movie, you know? We could do
that's
that
what
again.
I mean, though. It's like they keep treating it like a Fabergé egg. It's like, no, you can get another one. And like you don't even need that much of the DNA. All you need is like a slight shaving of it and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Some of like the root of the tooth. But again, whatever. And so and they're like, wait, what is that? They're like, it's like, is it the T-Rex? They're like, no. Then like the stampede of the animals comes out, like stomps all the henchmen to death.
Yeah.
It stomps everyone but Guy McFace, and the Indominus Rex tooth. And then like all the characters come out and they're talking to Guy McFace. And I think this might have happened earlier in the film. I think it must have happened earlier in the film because that's what we said about Maisie saying they're just like me. The reveal of her being a clone must have happened earlier in the film. But anyway, though, whenever it happened, I don't remember when.
Oh yeah, it definitely was earlier. It was I can't remember it exactly, but it's like we have. There's time in the movie where we know this as an audience.
Yeah.
And she becomes a member of the good guy team type of thing.
Yeah, but it's okay. Going back to that scene though, when it's like let out that's what she is, or it's revealed. When they find out, you look at Bryce Howard's face. She has the most horrified look on her face. They're like, she's a clone, and she just has this like face of sheer terror and like horror.
She should have had the V.D. Wong line and been like, push the Maisie away and go, you're unpure!
But like, I want anybody who's listening to this, who has not seen the film yet, when you get that reveal in the film, look at Bryce Howard's face. She is just mortified. Like, it's as if somebody, it's like, again, I don't know how to even describe, she looks disgusted, reviled by this. Like, I don't know what the director told her what was being said in this scene or what was being revealed, but she is just disgusted by it.
Oh, man, okay.
So like, I thought that was hysterical. I laughed at that, too. And so we go back, whatever it is, Guy McFace is outside of the tooth. They confront him, Chris Pratt, and them. They're like, you're a bad person. He's like, wahaha. And then the T-Rex shows... Yeah, indeed. The T-Rex shows up with another, like, carnivore dinosaur and like eats them and like tears them apart, eats them. I think one eats like one half of them, the other one eats the bottom half. Yeah. And the T-Rex like stomps off and stomps on the tooth in the glass containment thing. Mm-hmm. And then like they all look into the distance and they're like, you know what we've done, right? They're like, it's for the best though. And like, never mind, these all like in a real world, all these dinosaurs would be dead within like 6 hours. Like the police would like you'd have like police like in helicopters like shooting these people or shooting these dinosaurs. I mean, but anyway though, and so this though, then we see Blue show up and Blue's like, Blue shows up and Chris Pratt's like, hey Blue, there's you know this love affair. Yeah. It's not just a party of two, right? And so Blue like and he's like, and Chris Pratt literally has a conversation with the dinosaur like, Blue, come with me. And it's like, and Blue like looks like it's like in like Blue looks at Chris Pratt looks back at Blue, and like it cuts to like a random shot of like a cage, and Blue just runs away.
Yep.
It's like what? It's like okay, apparently the dinosaur that saved their lives twice now. They just lock it like Blue saved their lives, and then Chris Pratt would treat Blue like the Gimp in Pulp Fiction, just lock it in a cage and just screw it when he got bored.
Oh, it was. I know the way that scene was edited, like with the way that they showed the cage. I felt like it was really awkward, like for how long the cage was shown. It felt like it wasn't paced correctly. So I thought it was really weird. I like that Blue ran away because Chris Pratt, like we said, basically is like, Blue, I love you. We need to be together. We need to start a family. All that stuff. And Blue looks at him, and I honestly think I was hoping while I was watching this. I knew Blue was going to run away because there's going to be a third movie. Like, you know, I feel like this is when I know J.A. Bayona in some interview said that he compared this to like The Empire Strikes Back, and that would have been like Blue leaving is like the Empire winning in the end, and Luke getting his hand cut off. That's I'm sure what the director thinks. But I really think they should have cut out the thing in the cage and just for one line. The raptor should have talked, like spoken English, and just said, "I want to fuck other people," and then ran away. That would have made the scene. That would have made the movie. Because think about it, the fucking raptor's been on an island with nobody but Chris Pratt for its whole life, and now it's on the mainland. Like, no, Chris Pratt, fuck you. You left me for 3 years. I'm gonna go fuck other people. I'm gonna go fuck other raptors.
So I have two questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
First, I was always under the impression that like the love affair between Chris Pratt and Blue was like very much a one-way street. Like Chris Pratt had like some sort of like affinity for this dinosaur, and the dinosaur just had like wanted no parts of this.
Oh yeah, the dinosaur was using Chris Pratt as a means to an end, I think.
Okay, so like there's no mutual affection there, like there's no mutual sexual affection.
If there's any mutual feelings. It would probably just be lust. Like Chris Pratt loves Blue, but I'm thinking Blue might be like, yeah, Chris Pratt's all right, you know, you can have sex with him, but I'm going to leave him when I need to, you know? Like, Blue sees it as more of a friends with benefits type of thing, where Chris Pratt's, like, really trying to make it work.
Okay, this is my second question. So, Blue leaving, in the analogy you previously described, where Blue's like, I want to be with other people or dinosaurs, this is kind of the equivalent of, like, dating somebody in high school for like a period of time. And then once you go off to college, you just like you end the relationship so you can just go around be with everybody you want.
100%. That's a great analogy for that. Definitely.
And so that happens, and it's worth noting that this is another strangely comical scene. Is that like we see all the dinosaurs go to like all different corners of like California. Like the T-Rex like goes to like a zoo and starts like roaring in a lion for some reason.
That's not the one you're gonna bring up. I laughed at that. I really thought that was funny when the lion and the T-Rex looked at each other.
That's funny in and of itself. That was given away in the marketing for me, so that kind of spoiled. Okay. But you have like all these different scenes, but like they're all interconnected. We have Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Maisie in the back seat, and it's shot just like, and they're like driving. It looks like the Pacific Coast Highway. It looks like that.
Yeah.
And it's shot just like the beginning of The Shining with the Torrances in their car. It's shot like if you think about it, it's shot just like that.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think on top of the top of the like dozen sequels to this that we've already pitched, I think another one we're gonna shovel onto the pile is Jurassic World 3 is going to be the Shining of dinosaur films.
They're going to go to the Overlook?
They're going to go to the dinosaur version of the Overlook.
That's going to be... Oh, we're going to get like the Indoor Raptor's ghost in the Overlook Hotel or something.
Exactly, and the Indominus Rex is going to be Lloyd the bartender.
Yes. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for all the sequels now, Zach.
I want everybody. Like I said, we should make like a little chart, like a little cheat sheet of all the scenes in this movie you have to like pay extra special attention to, like the dinosaur smiling, Bryce Howard's mortified face, the Shining-esque ending.
Oh yeah, that's some good shit.
it's just like it's just baffling. Like this movie ends and it's like I don't know. Like again, I saw this in a pretty crowded theater, definitely more than like the 10 people Rob was in the theater with that paid $20 million a ticket.
Yeah.
They basically traded in one dinosaur for a ticket of admission.
Yep.
And like I saw like the people in the theater, like there was only a couple people that were really kind of like talkative, and they all were like just cursing at the movie. Nice. So like and this definitely adds a little bit of credence to the thing that like Rob and I have been talking about, like doing like Avengers 4. Mm-hmm. Like I if there was any doubt in my mind about that, I think this, because I can only imagine what the 7:00 showing of this looked like.
Yeah,
Like this would have been like, even though like Rob and I had this like very thing that we're planning for Avengers 4, maybe not happening. I think if we did this would have been almost as good, because like people take the Avengers like incredibly seriously.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, nobody's taking it seriously. So you can get away with like cursing at the movie and no one will really care.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Avengers, if you curse at Captain America, someone might punch you in the face while they're not applauding.
Yeah, they'll get like upset. For sure.
So is there anything else you want to talk about this movie plot-wise, or did we run through the entire plot?
Well, did you? I think the whole plot. I think we got through, but I do have to ask: did you look into the post-credit scene? Since you said you didn't see it, did you? Because I watched it. I stayed and checked it out. Did you like get to see it or read about it, or do you know what it is?
I didn't know there was one until I looked it up on Wikipedia like 2 hours ago.
But you know what the post-credit scene is?
Isn't it them just pterodactyls flying around Las Vegas?
Yeah. It's so fucking stupid. It starts with pterodactyls flying around the Eiffel Tower. Like you don't know it's the Eiffel Tower in Vegas. Like you think it's the real Eiffel Tower. Like it's just the shot of the top and pterodactyls like circling it, and then it like pans down and it pans and cuts. I think it's not a full pan. It pans some of the way, and so you can see like the logo to the hotel, and then it cuts to like the strip of not the strip of Las Vegas, but the street of Las Vegas, and like a tourist sees the dinosaurs, and they all scream, and that's it. Like, the people scream because they see dinosaurs, and I was like, I fucking sat through 80 minutes of credits for that. Like I wanted something more.
I did not, because I saw, like, there were people waiting in the theater when I got up and left, and I said, I don't care. Like, I genuinely said, I don't. Like, at that point, I got my money's worth of laughing at this dumb movie. I'm like, there's nothing a post-credit scene can give me that will top the dinosaur smiling into the camera. Like, it's going to take a lot for a movie to top that. It's going to take a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it, but that's what the post-credit scene is. It's just, it doesn't do anything. It reinforces the fact of what we got when the T-Rex roared at the lion, you know? It's yes, we understand. Dinosaurs are now in the world. I get it, you know? But the post-credit scene didn't add anything to that.
We didn't talk about the last thing with Jeff Goldblum, the fact that he's at the very end.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mentioned before he was the bookends, but he has more to say. Yeah, they get him in there again at the same...
But is that...
looks like the same Senate meeting.
Well, that's my question, though. Is it the same Senate hearing from before all the events of the film, or is it an additional Senate? Because you're right, the scene's identical, but I don't remember if he's wearing the same clothes or not.
That I don't remember either. I took it to be as the same.
That's why I would have to, because again, I doubt they would bring him back in again, because I would imagine, because if you, how long are those two scenes combined? What, 60 seconds tops?
Yeah, gotta be a minute. No
so
more
they
than
must
a
have
minute.
broken it up just to sit there, give him some, just to have him at the end as well.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I totally expect and think. Sure. I think that's it, really, right? Everything.
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
We beat that movie to fucking death.
Oh, this was like prior to like doing this, I really did not want to see this movie. Again, everybody knows my legendary contempt for Jurassic World, and I really didn't want to see this. But like, I am glad I did on a commentary podcast, because there was a lot. It's a dumb movie. If you're as cynical as I am about this series, it is well worth the price of admission. If you want I would imagine a lot of people are going to be disappointed. And the people who, I saw somebody on Twitter tweeting saying Jurassic World 2 makes Jurassic World look like Jurassic. Okay, how'd they say it? They said Jurassic World 2 makes Jurassic World look like Jurassic Park. Okay, and I look at that and I say, like, you are insane. This movie, I think, is infinitely better than Jurassic World, even though that's not saying anything.
I agree with that one. This is definitely, it ranks up higher than in all of my Jurassic Park rankings, higher than Jurassic World for sure.
Because it's an incredibly stupid movie, yet it's not pretentious about it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm tempted to say that this might be my second favorite. Because my first is still the third, of course, like without a fucking doubt. This one had a lot less of the kid aspect. If you remember from our first episode, my second was the first Jurassic Park before seeing this one. I think this one's gonna outrank it because the first one, of course, was the whole Laura Dern wants children. Just was in it so much. This one didn't really have it had the kid aspect. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't have it as heavily as the others.
You know what would be the greatest plot twist this series could go in?
What?
Make a movie without a child.
That would be amazing. That would instantly become my favorite Jurassic Park movie.
Why do they need to have children in these movies?
No.
Why? Like, it's not like the kids all, like, no kid is seeing this because there's another kid in it. They're seeing it either because of dinosaurs or they like Chris Pratt. Like, that's it.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't know.
I don't know why you need a kid.
It's just become like a Hallmark at this point. And it's like, just they need someone to tell them to stop. Like, please stop, you know? It's like a tradition that is just bad for everybody, but we keep doing it because it's a tradition. Like, someone, please break it. Please!
Oh, my God.
All right, well...
Is this... Okay, are we going to dive directly into our normal Cinemodities
I don't
nonsense?
I don't think I have anything else for dinosaurs.
Okay. So, what would we eat during this movie?
That's a good question. It's a good question. I think I have to give a shout out in my answer for snacks to a tweet we got from Porg Knight. His snack suggestion was eating a hunk of meat to represent a turkey leg. Yeah, a turkey leg to represent a dinosaur eating Chris Pratt or something like that. Got to give a shout out to that one. That's a good one. You know, you get some meat going on, so you could be like a dinosaur just chowing down on some humans or other dinosaurs or something like that. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really have any good snacks come to mind. I don't think there was anything in the movie that jumped out at me. I'd be like, oh, that's the snack to eat. I don't know. Did anything jump out for you? Did you have any snack?
The only thing, I'm not sure if I'm just making this up or if this is a real thing, is that I know, like, I don't know. It's like this weird sort of like, it's like almost like dollar store candy. Or like I think it was called like shark's teeth, where like you could sit there. It was like little white candy, but it was like in the shape of like shark's teeth, and that's just what it was. I think you get those. You cross off the word shark, write dinosaur, and much like Ted Levine, you can like rub them all over your junk, like you're aroused by it. And after you're done getting sexually pleasured, you can then eat them as a snack. I figured that's the only thing I can think of. Like it's something like that, though, where it's like a facsimile of what something in the movie. Considering that the indoor raptor eats the teeth, I would imagine you want to emulate the greatest villain in cinematic history.
Okay, I think I remember the shark teeth or something similar. Like
something like that.
Yeah, where they looked like teeth. Okay.
They're like gummies, almost like gummy-esque.
Would you consider eating actual teeth?
No, absolutely not.
Because you can't, or because you don't want to?
I don't want to. I use those exclusively to get off to. Much like Ted Levine.
They're for my necklace. I'm not going to eat my necklace. Oh, but wait. Remember those candy necklaces?
Oh!
What if we had one of those with the candy teeth on them?
Well, there you go. You figured it out. You cracked the code.
Nice. And you know, maybe if you're making this for yourself, I would say it's up to you if you want it to be a necklace of candy teeth or real teeth. If you're making it for somebody else, throw a few real teeth in there. like if Zack and I are sitting down for a movie, and I'm like, hey, Zack. Well, Zack's not a good... Zack will not take anything I give him, I think.
No.
Like, if I'm like, hey, Zack, I have food for you, he's going to be, nope. I will only eat things I prepared for myself. But if you got someone else here, and you're like, hey, look, I got a candy necklace. Check it out. Throw a few real teeth in there. That'll make for a good dinosaur viewing experience. You'll have something to talk about other than the movie.
This movie's bonkers, folks.
Do we want to... So, late night, I want to mention Late Night because I actually saw it at Late Night. So I saw it at a 10 p.m. showing. That's midnight. So I actually did see it today in Zack's timeline. So I saw it as a late night movie. I don't think I would ever want to see this again as a late night movie. I don't think I'd ever show it to someone as a late night movie. Not even during the day. But Cinemodities status.
Definitely
with how fucking much I was like laughing during the movie and how crazy some of the decisions, and even now after discussing it, all the stuff that you brought up that I didn't even think of, Zach, that's just even crazier. It adds to the craziness. This is a Cinemoddity. This is What do you remember what I said for Jurassic World? Did I?
I think it's neither. I think it was neither.
Yeah, I think we said neither for that as well. This one though, this is fucking out there.
Yeah.
This is out there. I think I have to agree with Zach, even though I wouldn't recommend it as a late night movie or ever use it as a late night movie again. I am glad I saw it because even though it wasn't a great movie, it's one of those films where you just have so much to say about it. Like in real time too. Like at some certain moments I wish I could have paused the movie theater and been like, what is going on? Like, is everybody else finding this as crazy as I am? So stuff like that.
Bonkers. Yeah, I would say definite Cinemodity, late night movie for me. Jury's still out. I would need to wait for the home video release. Maybe, like I said, I don't know. Some of the stuff might not land for me a second time. Like, I know the dinosaur smiling. That's just going to resonate with me forever. But certain other things, like, I don't know, like, for certain.
Yeah, okay.
But, no, I definitely think this is definitely in the, definitely like a blockbuster Cinemodity. This is definitely up there.
This would be one of our Gonzo blockbusters? You think fall into that category? Not Gonzo enough? Maybe
not
just bonkers?
Well, it's not. No, Gonzo blockbuster has to be something like at its core. This has a lot of elements of Gonzo. It's like, a sequel to a movie that made $1.6 billion. Like, oh, okay. It's like you're telling me a movie about like the fifth movie in a series about dinosaurs coming back to life. You're telling me they're running out of ideas. It's like, no, really? So no, I think the jury is still out on that. Like, I don't think I'd have to find, again, considering that Rob appreciates it, I doubt I'd find anybody else that will appreciate this movie on the cynical level I do. But if there ever is somebody, I would definitely put this would be on the list probably.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Because it is accessible. You can this is one of those movies that, like, if you're with somebody and it's just like on TNT one afternoon, you can put this on, like, while they're like watching, you can just like piss yourself laughing at how stupid it is.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Absolutely.
Like 4 years from now, this is going to be inescapable on like TNT and USA. Like, you will not be able to escape this movie.
Yeah, I actually think my version of The Lost World is a TV rip from TNT. Like, I think it has like the TNT logo in it, like most of my Law and Order episodes do as well. And little advertisements for when TNT is going to play Armageddon next. I see that a lot in some of the old Law and Order episodes.
Oh my god! All right, so how are we going to end this episode?
Before we talk about music, with the end of the episode, the way we need to end this episode, we have to celebrate. We have to give ourselves a pat on the back, Zach. We survived! We did the dinosaurs! We survived all 5 of these I survived all 5 of these movies. You like one of them. But we did it! We're never going to talk about dinosaurs again for a long time.
Oh, we might not explicitly discuss it as a topic, though, but Jurassic World will haunt me for my days to come.
Yes.
That movie is a shadow that I will never be able to outrun.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, I think, so for now, we're signing off until Jurassic Park 6, Jurassic World 3, Day of the Boogaloo.
Well, I have some information on that.
Ooh.
An untitled sequel known as Jurassic World 3 is scheduled for release on June 11th, 2021. Trevorrow will direct the film and will write the screenplay with Emily Carmichael based on a story by him and Connolly. Derek Connolly. Trevorrow will also serve as executive producer along with Steven Spielberg, Frank Marshall, and Crowley. I don't know who that is. And Pratt and Howard will reprise their roles for the film.
Okay, well, hopefully we never do anything dinosaur-related until then.
Hopefully this podcast will be, much like Jurassic World the Park, this podcast will be abandoned in a shattered shadow of what it once was by June 11th, 2021.
Yeah, we can only hope we get sued off the air by then.
Yeah.
Okay, but yes, we did it. We did it. We survived the dinosaur series. We also survived the miscellaneous series, which is pretty cool. So next we're going to foreign animation, and that's going to be fun.
Yes, everybody. This is the great series that we started recording like April 10th, and we just completed recording like 2 days ago.
We've referenced multiple episodes within it many times so far, I think. So everyone's going to get some pieces put together.
And there's going to be jokes that are now in jokes that we've been using for weeks now that probably will be applicable for certain episodes that won't be present in this series. So enjoy the very disjointed sense of humor.
Come on. Sign it. Come on.
That people will get.
Oh yeah, I'm just falling in love with that at this point. All right. Well, with that being said, do we have any dinosaur themes we have in mind?
We have to check. We might have to check. Okay, we might have to check the Jurassic World 2 soundtrack and see if there's anything good played backwards.
Maybe there's the music during the credits or something we could mess with. Yeah. Okay, we'll take a look.
We'll see if there's a Chris Pratt Blue Love theme on the soundtrack.
It's going to be called like My Blue. That's the name of the song, and then in parentheses, Make Sweet Sweet Love to Me. That's going to be the name. That's the name of their theme. Okay, yeah, let's get that in reverse.
Let's play it.